sent the invite, my guy. All right, yeah, we supposed to get it started. I just sent the invite out. Let me share the live. Let me share the live when he can come over here. Okay, hold on. Let me go find him again. I just sent him up here. I was able to share the live with him. Co-host invite. Oh shit, hold on. I gotta go search for him now.
It's game on.
Oh shit, hold on. What the fuck?
Yeah, oh shit, hold on. What the fuck you stepped into? Yeah, right.
Yeah. How do you exit these?
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, how
Yeah,
do you
okay.
exit
I ain't
these?
got time to argue.
Yeah, damn, why does he even pop out? Oh, yeah, that's my fault. What's this nigga name even, bro? No, I just sent it. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Young Rich Indian. That's what he go by. All right, boom, invite. That's how you co-host. I don't know why you're not accepting it. That's what I'm saying, bro. These people don't know what the hell they doing. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I thought she was one of them.
You said what?
No, nothing.
Hold
All
on,
right,
wait.
you want to go over anything before we start up?
Yeah, just give it like 5 more minutes. Some more of my people come here real quick. Sure,
Yeah, you want to go over anything before we start up,
a
though?
little late. Like what? I mean, you go over the topic and everything.
Yeah, as far as like the formatting of it, you want to, you know what I'm saying, just anything 10-minute good. We can go like 5, 10, 10, 10. And then you know we can yield whenever. Any disrupting, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna disrupt you. You can if you go over, you know what I'm saying, I'll probably like put in the chat or something. But yeah, opening statements, we're gonna present our arguments, do the cross-examination, rebuttal, then close. The three in the middle, there'll be 10 minutes. Yeah, so this debate, the claim is Black people are not indigenous to America. End quote right there. So how we set up, we setting up with the opening statements where we're gonna establish our core argument, define our terms, present our main thesis, and then we just get into it. Let me share this. I did actually find a moderator. I don't know if you know Crebun, but just on you. We already cranked now, so it's whatever. Yeah, tap screen repost a live, trying to send it off to everybody.
Y'all tap the screen, shut a lot, y'all. Damn, I'm mad as fuck. My main page blocked, man. Y'all tap the screen. Share it to your favorite Indian. Share it to your favorite Pan-African. Y'all keep tapping that screen, y'all. I try to get the 5K likes. Peace, peace, peace. It's just a little debate, man. That ain't shit serious for real, for real. That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, roll about 5 of them up, man. 5 of them. Y'all keep tapping that screen. Y'all keep tapping that screen. Keep tapping that screen.
Yeah, my bad. I ain't give y'all no backdrop for this. Y'all know what it is. I probably could do several of them. Topic of the debate is I'll probably cook one up right now actually. But black people are not indigenous to America. Black people are not indigenous to America. We're gonna do self-modding, y'all. I like that. Any disrupting, any muting, I don't even know if I can mute, bro. But yeah, automatic disqualifier. But I'm gonna actually put my own timer on so I don't go too far over. And yeah, whenever you land a yield, just let me know so I don't interrupt you.
Y'all keep tapping that screen. Y'all keep tapping that screen. Oh, nothing wrong with Force a Year at all. We don't do, you know what I'm saying? We don't do that over here. We got from the nappies here to the, you know what I'm saying? All different hair textures, not just one.
Black people are not indigenous to America. That's the topic. That's the topic of this debate, formal debate. Formal debate, y'all.
Y'all keep tapping that screen. Appreciate it, man. We almost there. We almost there.
Okay,
Keep
y'all.
tapping that
Share the
screen.
live.
Share the live.
Get everybody here so we can get ready to start up. How many you got on your side?
Shit, a few, man. A few.
I'm over here struggling.
Man. Oh, shit, we got 200 now.
You got 200 over there?
Hell yeah.
Man, I'm in.
What's going on, Fadi? Yeah, I keep tapping that screen, man. Keep tapping that screen. Hey, man, stop sending your people over here, bro. That's funny as hell. I see all y'all coming in to see the what's the name, man. Y'all nosy as hell, bro. Appreciate the gifts. Appreciate the gifts.
Type shit we deal with.
Hey, Black First, we could have did it on yours, bro. We was looking for it, you know what I'm saying? But hey, it is what it is. And they coming over here looking in the live and shit and seeing how many what's the names we got, bro. Damn.
Yeah, they saying you lying over there. That's crazy too.
I was capping, man. It was a joke, man. They done pulled up though. It's funny as hell. Hey, but y'all keep tapping the screenshot alive, y'all. Keep tapping the screenshot alive. Are you Swarthy?
You talking to the chat?
Yeah, I'm talking to my chat. Bro, you think I was dead serious, bro? Relax, man. Relax, relax, relax. Come on, y'all, let's get the 10K likes. 10K likes, y'all. Tap the screenshot alive.
You want to go first or what?
Oh, you got it?
Want to go first?
Yeah, good.
Trying to think of something real quick. Okay, when it comes to here we go.
Yeah, y'all tap the screenshot alive, man. Tap the screenshot alive.
All right, so you ready for that?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so we're gonna jump it off. Topic of this debate is black people are not indigenous to America. Black people, and it's a capital B on this. Capital B black. I should show y'all the screenshot, but yeah, black people are not indigenous to America. So what I'm gonna go over is not an opinion, right? It's not my feelings. It's gonna be really a multi-discipline, multi-science demonstration of empirical fact, where I use genetics, I use anthropology, I use archaeology, I use chronology, right? I'll use linguistics. I'll define these terms in their definition, which is their literal meaning, and in their etymology, which will get conflated in this debate. Etymology is the true meaning of the word, the origins of the word, the genealogical beginning of the word. The definition is the meaning, right? What they settled upon is understanding, right? I'll go over historical documentation and, of course, geography. These going to be the same tools that every credentialed scientist on earth uses to slash what a fact is, right? And beyond reasonable doubt that black people, put a slash right there, sub-Saharan African descendants are not, were not, and cannot be categorized as indigenous by definition to the American continent. I'll yield that intro.
I mean, you kind of moving the goalpost a little bit now. Now you're talking about sub-Saharan Africans and so on and so forth. I mean, the topic is so-called black people are not indigenous to the Americas, not sub-Saharan Africans, so on and so forth. That's the debate. So you know what I'm saying. We want to stick to that. But when discussing whether dark-skinned people, everybody there, when discovering whether dark-skinned people existed in the Americas before Columbus, we must first recognize that the first inhabitants of the Americas migrated thousands and thousands of years ago during the Ice Age. These early populations lived in environments with high sun exposure and had not yet developed lighter skin adaptation seen in later Eurasian population. As a result, many anthropologists believe early indigenous Americans likely had darker skin pigmentation. In addition, early European explorers frequently described Native Americans as dark, brown, or even black in complexion. Tonight, I will show 3 lines of evidence, genetic and evolutionary evidence about early human skin pigmentation, early European descriptions of Native Americans, and archaeological evidence from early American skeletons in the Americas.
I'm assuming you yielding.
Yeah, I'm there.
All right, so I want to start off by actually doing what needs to be done in this debate first. It's the first topic of this debate is to define terms, right? So we're talking about black. Once again, I'll confirm that with y'all. That is a capital B, right? Not a lowercase b. And then it's also black people. So we know for sure, if we're not paying attention to the capital B, we're talking about people, which is literally referencing a noun and not an adjective, right? That's what I said earlier about we're going to get some conflating here. That's what it is. And actually, forgive me one second. I'm actually going to this where y'all can see, get this confirmation. Fuck. Man, that shit fucked up. I sent out all these invites. Hold on, y'all. I sent out all these invites to this live, but I just wanted y'all to see what the topic of the debate was. What was agreed upon. So y'all understand we're talking about a noun. Black people, this is a capital B. Capital B. So we're referring to a noun, right? Referring to black people in the definition in the Oxford English Dictionary, which is the leading authority of the English language, which we're speaking. We're not speaking on Old English or Middle English. We're speaking on English. And in that definition, it's designating a member of any of the dark-skinned group of peoples, of persons, especially of sub-Saharan African origins or descent, period. Right? This is what it means to be black, right? Per the Oxford English Dictionary, right? Now, when referencing indigenous, we already know that, let me go ahead and open this source for y'all. We already know that indigenous was referenced firstly by Sir Thomas Brown, Pseudodoxia epidemica. Let me go and pull this up here. Right? Once again, the English language is what we're talking about. Not Old English, not Middle English, not etymology, not nothing else. So in Pseudodoxia epidemica, he says, what the fuck is in many parts thereof, it be confessed, there be a present swarm of Negroes, and we'll go over this word too, because this is the word firstly used for black, and we'll go over that in its first definition, serving under the Spaniards, yet they are all transported from Africa since the discovery of Columbus, and are not indigenous or proper natives of America. All right. So the first person to use the word indigenous in English in the 17th century said indigenous was referencing the Native Americans and made a distinction to these people and the Negroes that were transported from Africa. right? And we'll get into the first time that that was documented right after I confirm these terms with y'all, right? So they're not conflated. So terms like swarthy, terms like mellas, these have their own definitions, right? Swarthy refers to the Moors. These are North Africans. We already confirmed that black is sub-Saharan African, Spaniards, right? And Italians, right? So now we're even in Europe when we're referencing the swarthy, right? And they're talking about more swarthy than the French, right? So they're talking about more darker than the Germans and the English, right? You see this? All right, when we go to terms like colored, because we have to talk about all these terms, how they reference people, black people, Africans, and their descendants. It's the same definitions, right? Here we are, 1828. This is where the terms are first documented in these dictionaries, right? We'll go to Negro. Negro, Latin pronunciation, a native or descendant of the black race. You see how these words are used synonymous? Black in Africa, black race, men of Africa. The word is never applied to tawny. That's another one that will get conflated likely. Tawny, olive colored, maybe even copper colored may get conflated tonight. But these are the inhabitants of North Africa, right? Right? It's never applied to the tawny people of North Africa, but to the more southern race, men who are quite black, right? So that's Negro, color, and then we'll go to black. And it just runs cyclical, right? It's a cycle. Black is referring to a Negro, a person whose skin is black. So now when we're talking about capital B, black people, right? And we're talking about a noun, right? Not an adjective, not an adjective, not a color. When we're talking about people, people aren't colors. People are races. This is a social construct. And I'll go over that, how this was constructed by Carl Linnaeus, Frederick Blumenbach, Samuel Morton, and how it was used in America to subjugate black people, right? With early anthropologists using pseudoscientific words like Negroid, right? And conflating the Australian admixture or that phenotype with that latitude of sub-Saharan Africa, the whole equatorial line, these people having dark skin pigments, conflating that and these adaptations with what it means to be black, sub-Saharan African. So when I use these words interchangeably, it's because they are in fact synonymous by definition that we agreed to in our debate, right? And indigenous also, if we want another source for that, because I know that was just one.
And not to cut you off, bro, but you gotta stop like throwing stuff in there that we didn't talk about, or you get us. First, you said sub-Saharan Africans, was we didn't talk about. Now you just said something that we agreed to that we didn't agree about.
Okay, so yeah, let me take
Was
a
that a
time
part?
out for this interjection, so just so we can get some clarity. So yeah, and that's what I'm doing in my debate. I'm defining these terms by the way we set them up, by the way I articulated the debate. Like black people, right, is a capital B. Black people, it's a people, right? That means it's a noun. It's not an adjective, and that's what I'm defining right here. I was hoping you was going to be able to listen, right, while I present it. You understand me? I make
Don't
sure
talk
that
to me
like, I'm
like
trying to
that,
get
bro.
clarification. I don't want any discrepancies before I continue my talk.
No, go ahead. I just want to make sure we sticking to the topic, not anything else. But go ahead.
No, I want to make sure that you know that we are sticking to the topic.
We are, but I have sources that I'm gonna pull up about the definitions
Yeah,
that you put up. So you know what I'm saying?
yeah, absolutely.
And
So when we're
actually,
talking
can
about,
you tell us the source of? You said that's the Webster
yeah, this is
Dictionary you
yeah,
getting it from.
I'm using the Webster Dictionary and the Oxford English Dictionary when I'm defining these terms.
And when was those written?
I, hold on. What you asking now?
I just asked when was it written
If you want to listen, if you want to
or
have
published
this
or
kind of sounds
published?
like it's getting to the cross examination part of the debate.
No, no, no. I'm just asking.
This is the defining terms part of the debate, right?
All right, go ahead, bro.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, what we're doing, that's what we're doing. We're defining terms. And then after this, we establish the core argument of the debate. So this is the debate. I'm saying black people are not indigenous to America. By doing this, I'm explaining to you what black means. Black is a people. A noun is a person, place, or thing. It's not an adjective. When we're talking about a people, it's a person, place, or thing. Hey, shut the fuck up. Person, place, or thing. All right. That's what black people is. When I'm talking about indigenous, we go to the first time this is mentioned and the first time it's documented. And also, while I'm at it, that's where I was at before I was so rudely interrupted. The first time it's mentioned by Sir Thomas Brown, and what is referred to in the United Nations. And it's referring to people who have pre-colonial contact to the Americans. Hold on, let me see what it is. Let me get my head right here. Indigenous people have in common a historical continuity with the given region prior to colonization. Prior to colonization. So that's what it means to be indigenous. It means you have to be here prior to colonialism. Now, if we figure out that black people are sub-Saharan Africans, we have to then prove that sub-Saharan Africans was over here in America with those same or similar sciences that I referenced with anthropology, archaeology, linguistics, or by these definitions, or geography, or migratory route, which I am saying we do not have any. There's no evidence in any scientific disciplines, right, that confirm this psyop that's going on that these people have kind of gotten fried with, right? The social, racial identity and geographical designation. This is what we're talking about, right? We're just not talking about dark skin pigmentation, as you all seen on that definition. Black is not just dark skin. It's also a geographical designation of black, right? It's not the same thing. Dark skin is a biological adaptation to ultraviolet radiation, right? It's a product of melanin concentration, which is increasing in populations that live in lower latitudes closer to the equatorial line, whether that's sub-Saharan Africans, whether that's the Yanomami, the Brazilian tribes, whether that's South Indians islands, whether that's Melanesians, Australians. These people are along the equatorial line, and that UV exposure is why they have dark skin. This is a convergence evolutionary adaptation which occurs independently in geographical unrelated populations who happen to inhabit tropical zones. Dravidians, Melanesians, Aboriginals, Ottomanese all have very dark skin. None of them are capital B, LACK, which is agreed upon in the debate, which means to be a sub-Saharan African descent, right? Which is defined by genetic, and the ancestral sense of the word, because it means to be of origin or descendant. Right? To be a descendant, that means you have to ascend from an African. Black, as the term is used in model racial taxonomy, this is how we're using it as it applies to this resolution, refers specifically to those people, sub-Saharan African descendants, geographically, genetically, ancestrally, or in their origins, in their culture, in their language families, and in their mitochondrial DNA, and their Y chromosome. And all that lineage is going to trace back to sub-Saharan Africa, specifically West and West Central, right? Not the social construct that's going to get invoked and conflated, right? We are not debating dark skin. We are debating ancestry, geography, genetics, historical continuity. The moment the opposition conflates pigment with ancestry, they have literally conceded to this scientific argument. The etymology of black, Negro, Moors, colored, and related terms establish no racial categories existing. Like we were talking about the 15th century. When I'm talking about Carl Linnaeus and they coming up with these concepts, this isn't into the late 18th century. So 15th century, 16th century, 17th century, references to these terms, black, Negro, the color, don't mean black in the modern sense of the word, right? If somebody gonna use it as a Latin nigrin, right? The lattice origins, right? Dark, sable, dusky, right? It's a descriptive term, not the racial classification. Understand that the term Moor simply derives from the Greek moros, dark, similar to swarthy. They're talking about North Africans. And it's applied loosely to dark complected people of North Africa, the Iberian Peninsula, even South Asia and the Pacific, right? Even we're using this word blackamoor, right? Didn't appear to 1540s, right? Another descriptor, not a noun. Pay attention. Even when we want to conflate these words like Melanesian, or when the Melas come from the Greeks and the Nisos comes from island, black island, right? This is not black. We are not conflating in this debate, right? We're not, just want to make sure that we are clear on that. The fact that Europeans use the same root word, whether that's Melas, Marus, Niger, to describe dark-skinned peoples across Australia and the Pacific, South Asia, and Africa, demonstrates that these were colored descriptors for pigmentation, not genetic or ancestral, right? And I'll go ahead and, I don't know, y'all let me know if I went over because I didn't even start my time. Let me get 5 more minutes.
Yeah, so with this debate, bro, you definitely moving the goalpost. Talking about sub-Saharan African descent or West African descent. Nobody ever made the claim that sub-Saharan Africans or West Africans was in America. And when we talk about the word black, Negro, so on and so forth, you're using the Webster's dictionary. But when we go into, let me see, let me pull up a source real quick. Let's pull up this source right here. The Dictionary of the English Language, which was written in the 1700s prior to the Webster's Dictionary. And I have the direct source coming from these pages. I'm not just talking. So I'm going to show y'all what the capital BLACK means. And this, I'm going to show y'all who wrote it. Give me 1 second. Okay, right here. Samuel Johnson. Samuel Johnson was an English writer and a critic and one of the most famous literary figures in the 18th century. His best known works for the Dictionary of the English Language. So he already wrote the Dictionary of the English Language before Webster. So we can actually go into his dictionary and see it. This is what he's most famous for. So once again, give me 1 second. Let's pull up the dictionary. Let's see. In the dictionary, that's fine. Oh, that's the wrong one. 1 second, y'all, my bad. Okay, here we go. This is the dictionary, y'all. Straight from the source, primary source. We can go down to the word BLACK, all in capital letters. As we can see right there, put a 1 in the chat if y'all can see it. Black, of the color of the night. Black, of the color of the night. So when we go back further in history, when we look at the historical terms and not modern terms, because we're talking about historical event, not modern event. So if Europeans came today and said black people, they would be referring to black people as in West and Central African. But historical terms was a descriptor of black, a color. What's the color of night, y'all? Black, dark, so on and so forth. So they give an example right here. Hold on, let me zoom out. Where did it go? My bad, y'all. So right here, they even say a black man. They mention a black man or whatever, and it's nothing about West and Central Africa. The original term of black, when we talk about in a historical context, not modern terms, it just simply means dark. So when they're using the word black, it means dark. Let's go even further. I have another primary source coming from the same book, or the same dictionary. Let me pull it up. Okay, so here go the dictionary right here, primary source. We got black, the color of the night. Just simply means dark. It has nothing to do with sub-Saharan African ancestry or being from Africa at all. Let's go into the word Negro. Y'all see it right there? Not lowercase N-E. Y'all see it right there, right? Let's see what it means. Let's see what Negro mean. Negro, a blackamoor. Negro, a blackamoor. So we went over black, which means dark. We went over Negro, which means a blackamoor. What does blackamoor mean? Let's find out what blackamoor mean, y'all. Hold on. Here we go. Negro, blackamoor. Negroes transplanted to the cold habitations continue their hue in themselves. So it talks about Negro is a hue, black is a hue. It's a historical context, not modern in a modern sense. So blackamoor, a man by nature of black complexion, a Negro. Samuel Johnson's dictionary. So when we talk about, oh, there it go right there. My bad, y'all. Y'all see it straight from the book. Blackamoor. true of a black complexion, a Negro. These words are descriptors for skin color, not ancestry and historical context. We can't use terms used in 2026 and reference them to things that happened in the 16th and 1700s. We have to line it up. So if I'm talking about history that happened in the 1700s, I'm gonna use a 1700 dictionary to see what these people are talking about. So those are the terms and conditions. When we talk about black people being indigenous to the Americas, referring to dark skin, not ancestry. And this is all sources, primary sources. Now let's get to the debate.
Yeah. So I'll start off by actually presenting the first time, right, the Negro was used referencing black people with the actual primary source. The first time it was used referencing Africans, right? They met with Trere in the West Indies and determined to hold consortship hitherward, but in their passage lost one the other. He brought not anything but 20 odd Negroes, which the governor and captain ended up buying for food, right? 20 odd Negroes. So we already know what they was referring to these people by the 17th century of Negroes as. All right, and this is going to be John Ross. Let me put this short, y'all. This is going to be in John Ross, the Record of Virginia Company in London, right? And it's going to be in the Encyclopedia of Virginia. The first time it is mentioned, this is going to be in 1620, right? So we already went over the predecession of how these terminologies come about with black, and just wanted to do that one while I was actually just ironically looking at it. So yeah, I'll get into the genetics, right? The irrefutable science with this about the genetic record of, once again, the indigenous people and who these people are. But I just wanted to confirm that, once again, we're talking about people. We're not talking about descriptors. We're talking about a noun again. All right. So when we're talking about the peoples, the indigenous of Americas, is really among the clearest, well documented, and repeatedly replicated findings in all the popular genetics. Right. So Native Americans, maternal lines is going to be their mtDNA, which is inherited through your mother, is fall overwhelmingly into haplogroups A2, B2, C1, D1, and even an X2A, all of which are shared with traceable ancestry, to East Asia and Siberian populations. All right. The paternal, let me go ahead and pop this over for y'all so y'all can see this too.
And not to interrupt, so it's just like the first round. We got a timer. What's going on?
Yeah, you got a timer on?
All right, so can you tell everybody what you're starting off with, since it's the first round?
Yeah, okay. So in this part, I'll present my evidence right here. I'll give my examples, and I'll give you all the reason behind my position, the evidence that I have went over that makes me come to the conclusion that black people are not indigenous to America, understanding that we now have the comprehension of the definition of what it means to be black as far as a racial group that was created in the 18th century, right? I've already established what my core argument is going to be. So now I would just construct pretty much the body of my arguments. And this is actually where you should pay attention to, because this is what you're going to want to cross-examinate in the next round. All right. So yeah, just so we clear, I'm going to present my evidence, the data and the examples behind that. And yeah, pretty much just substantiate my claim. So yeah, this pretty much, I'll probably do, not gonna even hold you, I'll probably do since it's 10-10, I'll probably do 15-5 and yield my next on the cross-examination. Cause that'll just be where I'll just question your evidence or lack thereof. We clear? You hear me? Okay. We there? All right, there we good. So yeah, I was referring to the DNA, right? A, B, C, and X. This is shares traceable ancestry to East Asia, right? Which is confirmed with these first colonizers who come over into the Americas, right? And reference them looking like, is there what their resemblance is Orientals. What is an Oriental, right? Orient, particularly those from the farthest Sonarian regions. Well, if you don't know what these terms mean, they have it very low at the bottom. I don't know if I'll be able to blow this up for y'all. Where it says right here, Sonarian, y'all got to see this. Sonarian is Chinese. Let me see if I can blow it up for y'all, yeah. Sonarian is Chinese, right? So it's referencing the phenotype of them looking like they're the ones they have common ancestors with. Right, referring to that primary source of indigeneity, right? When I was talking about Sir Thomas Brown, y'all can all go refer to that book right here. This is the primary source on that. All right. So that's just to give you some confirmation on the phenotype with the genetic evidence. Let me see here. I want to show you all this. These haplogroups. All right. Confirmation with that is even in the Yuyako mummies, pre-Columbian human remains found in America, right? The genetic evidence substantiates those same haplogroups, right? Where it says genetic analysis can aid in approximating the geographic origins of these victims, right? For the 3 mummies found in northeastern Chile, hair samples were taken for DNA analysis. The Yuyako boy belonged to haplogroup C, right? So it's very easy to remember A, B, C, D, and X is going to be their maternal line, right? Had genetic matches in Peru, right? The younger Yuyako girl belonged to haplogroup D, right? It matched with individuals in Bolivia and Peru. So even when we're talking about these dark-skinned peoples, right, it's going to be mostly in South America, right? Biologically, right? When we can't escape through semantic drifts, right? We can't conflate these words with anything else. All of the pre-colonial remains take us back to these people's origins, right? With these haplogroups that confirm the migration in the literal haplogroup migration map that confirms humans evolved out of Africa 200,000 years ago, the cradle of humanity, migrate out of Africa approximately 70,000 years ago. Along the equatorial line, they populated India, the Southeast Islands, and Oceania, right? 50,000 years ago, this is the successful migration into Americas. 25,000 years ago, they crossed over Beringia, and this is all substantiated with DNA. This is the DNA haplogroup map. And this is the Clovis, the earliest peoples in Americas, all the way down to the bottom of the map. All right, this is confirmed by science, by genetics, by DNA, right? We're not conflating any misinterpretations here. And just so you know, just we get confirmation that on that origins, right, that's substantiated by archaeology, right? By human remains, right? And we look over here, we can go to the Homo sapiens, right? We're talking about Homo sapiens, right? Let's go to the oldest one in Africa is 300,000 years ago. This is showing the origins, right? Right here, if you look at early hominids with the Heidelbergensis, which we have a common ancestor with Denisovans, right? And Neanderthals. This is Homo sapiens, though. It shows the oldest ones in East Africa. So it shows the migration out. The haplogroups confirm it. The DNA of the people in America prior to colonialism confirm it. The earliest colonizers in America confirm it. And like even outside of phenotype, right? Because phenotype, they're going to be able to just say people are black, right? And conflate the Australians with being black, the Negritos with being black, the Melanesians, all of these people with being black. When they can't get over this hair flowing, right? That hair is going to be a pivotal part of the conversation, right? When we talk about these pre-colonial remains, this is the hair, right? You can't get over this. This is the Yuyako mummies. Right, the same DNA that's found right here, this ABC DNX, right? And we need to go over several of these sources. Columbus journals, right? Their hair is not curly, but flowing and thick like horse hair, right? Once again, the voyage of Christopher Columbus. His hair was very long, gathered up at the back of his head. Check this out. His face was all blackened with charcoal, right? This is horsehair, y'all. Y'all are not born with this. Y'all are not born with this, right? These are going to be the first. This is going to be the first person to colonize in America. It's Pedro Menendez de Aviles, right? This is what he told these people: "You or whoever you empower may transport to the said coast and country of Florida 500 Negro slaves." Did we not go to Negro and said that it means sub-Saharan African? That's what. And then they said these words are synonymous. Literally, Negro, black, colored, synonymous with African descent, sub-Saharan African descent. At least 1/3 of whom shall be females. They wanted the ladies. Free of any duty which may belong to us, from who you may be registered to the said coast and country. This is Pedro de Aviles. These are the first people establishing colonies in Florida. And this is the 16th century. This is a primary, literally. Right? Even when we talk about all the documentation, it's referencing Negroes, right? Allowing subjects from Great Britain to import Negroes to Spanish America. You gotta understand, we're talking about the 17th century. We're talking about 1700s here, y'all. We have all the documentation we needed that is confirmed with this shit. The Bight of Benin, right? The slave coast, the King of the Dahomey. This is where they're getting this from. This is another 18th century map. He's like, we gotta tighten up. We even go to some more descriptions. The form, this is on the land of Pennsylvania right here. The journey into Pennsylvania. They're talking about these people too. The form of their bodies is not different from ours, except they look dark yellow, which is, however, they are not their natural color, for they besmear and stain themselves. But by their birth, they are born as white. Make sure y'all can see that. As white as we are. Both men and women have long, smooth hair on their heads. We don't have long, smooth hair. We have kinky hair. All right, we have kinky hair. I don't want to search for that one, but yeah. This is like the confirmation of what indigenous is and black is by genetics, right? Not a single founding haplogroup of the indigenous peoples of America, right? The A2, B2, C1, D1, X2, or the Q has any origins in sub-Saharan Africa, which is synonymous, interchangeable, equal to black. They trace to Northeast Asia and Siberia. Oh, I got to go over this too before we got flated. So I showed y'all that migration map, right? I want y'all to see something that's about to get conflated right here, because I got to do this Eminem 8 Mile shit, right? Because we already know what these people are finna do. They're finna conflate the Athabascan or the Austro-Melanesian people with being black and coming to the Americas. So we got right here in this study what this is due to right here. And they can show you that the Malta people, right, approximately, this is going to be around 24,000 years ago in East Asia. All right. And the Athabascan people. And this is right here where these people merge in. So if we're talking about, once again, pay attention to those numbers. 75,000 years ago, these people migrated out. It's 50,000 years ago, these people have been in a proximity to each other in East Asia, right? Before going through a bottleneck in the Aleutian Islands and Beringia and settling in the Americas. Right here, we get to the gist of it, so we don't have to read this whole study. Additionally, we see a weak signal related to Australo-Melanesians in some Native Americans, which may have been mediated through East Asians. Right? We see weak signal related to Melanesians in some Native Americans, which may have been mediated through East Asians. All right. So when we get to establishing these terms, once again, what black is and what indigenous is, per the definition, per the etymology, per the people who coined this word, per the UN, right, of people who have pre-colonial, right? Pay attention. I just showed y'all the Unomami people, right? The Yuyako children. These are pre-colonial people with genetic remains attaching to subplates from East Africa. Every time we look into these primary sources, it's the same thing. Not one. It's not one distinction. All right, let me shut load up real quick. All right, so when we go to the Columbus sources, oh yeah, let me do that too. Let me do that too, actually. If we want to go to any of these primary sources, right, what Columbus is saying when he's referencing these people, right, we got, y'all can screenshot this, please do, because I got it summarized for y'all, right? Bartolomé Zealous Casas, we got the primary source, Christopher Columbus Journal of the First Voyage, right here. This is in quote, and this is going to be on page 37 and 38. They are very well made, with handsome bodies and very good countenances. Their hair is short and coarse, almost like the hairs of a horse's tail. I think we showed you the horse's tail already, right? And they paint themselves black, but are the color of the Canarians, neither black nor white. So in order to understand this, y'all got to understand the Canarians are North Africans, right? It's an island off of West Africa. Once again, associated with that tiny and swarthy. That is not black. All right. I'll go to another quote from Columbus. This is the letter to Rafael Sanchez and Luis de Santiago in 1493. And this is another part that I wanted to point out in this debate. It's also, we already talked about it, due to the latitude, right, of UV proximity. So we go right here to the latitude. This is approximately 20 degrees north latitude, right? This is going to be in Gilder Lehrman. In the paragraph, inhabitants appears, I found among them no monsters, as very many expected, but men of great difference and kind. Not are they black like Ethiopians, nor are they black like Ethiopians, not are they black like Ethiopians, but they have, again, long, straight hair. They do not dwell where the rays of the sun have the most power. And although the heat is very great there in this region, once again, the 26 degrees distant of the equatorial line, even Columbus and them knew this. But not are they black, not Ethiopians. They have straight hair hanging down. They do not remain where the solar, in every translation is saying the same thing, right? Amerigo Vespucci, right? They too have plentiful, plentiful and black. Hold on, I thought it was here. Oh, sorry. Let me start from the top. They have square built bodies, well proportioned in coloring version upon reddish. And this is why I say when we go into the origins of this with Frederick Blumenbach and Carl Linnaeus, the first timers was not the first shit was not fucking black and white. It was referring to the Native Americans as copper colored. We can go into these sources and see that was referring to, once again, talking about these definitions. Copper refers to a metal of pale red color tinged with yellow. We understand that is pheomelanin, right? That's pheomelanin. That is not what black is. If black is sub-Saharan African descent, then we got to make that synonymous with people in that region, right? We have eumelanin, which is dark to brown, not yellow and red, which is what copper is, which is what red is, which they were using to refer to these people, right? Have to mention Lusia just in case we have to conflate there. When we talk about these Native American, these American founding haplogroups, right? The A2, B2C1, which are also frequent in Asia, which confirms the migration route, right? And we can get into all of these, the Lusia archaeological reconstructions as having to be retracted and revised, but from pseudoscientific terminologies. With Negroid in terms like that, which do not mean black, but
Yeah, not to cut you off, but you going way over 10 minutes, man.
All right, I guess. Go ahead.
All right. First thing I want to say is when we doing this debate, can we like stick to one thing? So if we doing genetics, let's do genetics. If we go do history and descriptions, let's do descriptions and so on and so forth. And another thing, can you actually cite the sources? Like when you show your source, tell us who wrote it, the website, the name of the study, so on and so forth. Besides that, it's a few things you said, and I want to make sure that I clarify these things. You said that the people in the Amazon have a distinct a distinct DNA that points to the Americas, right?
No.
All right, can you clarify that for me?
No, I don't remember what I said verbatim.
You were referencing you said these people are on the equatorial line, they dark, and they have a distinct DNA that's only found
I didn't say
within.
not DNA. Not DNA. I know I didn't say DNA.
Well, what you say there?
But may have been an adaptation to that region.
Okay, all right. Adaptation to the region. Let's say that. Another thing you said was the first American colonizers was the Clovis people. Is that correct?
No, that's incorrect.
What did you say?
I would not refer to the Clovis as colonizers.
Well, you said the first people to colonize the Americas. Well, maybe you didn't say that. That's what I heard. But the first people to come to the Americas, to give rise to the Americas, would be the Clovis culture, right?
I said that one of the earliest Paleo-Indian groups to arrive from Northeast Asia across the bridge into America, approximately.
Okay, and I heard you mention Malta Boy was one of the ancestors for modern-day Native Americans, and the haplogroups of modern-day Native Americans on the maternal side, A, B, C, D, and X, specifically A2. I forgot the other one you said, but I know X2A, and you said D1 to be specific. All right, A2, B2, there we go, B2. All right, C1. All right, man, so we got A2, C1, B2, X2A, and D1. Cool. Let me know when you're ready.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I'm done. I've been yielding my time.
All right, cool. Okay, let's start with some genetic evidence. Let's see. Okay, so we all know that modern-day Native Americans descend from Clovis descended, dating back to roughly around 12 to 13,000 years ago, right? Put a one in the chat if that's the common consensus. I mean, that's kind of what he just went over, 12, 13,000 years. So this genetic structure, it has a time frame of 12,600 years. 12,600 years is the oldest date that modern day Native Americans go back to. All right, so let's get into some. I know my screen, but I'm pulling it up right now. All right, so let's get into some genetic studies. So the first source I'm going to pull up, y'all, is from Texas A&M University. Y'all see source right there, EDU. This first study is going to it's going to shatter the whole thing. So we know that modern day Native Americans go back to a 12,600-year-old skeleton. But when we look at actual other studies confirm first Americans came before Clovis. So that stops it right there. A team of international researchers has found that the modern day humans that entered North America from a single migration wave no later than 23,000 years ago. So let's scroll down. Okay, right here. The genetic evidence shows that the first Native Americans came from one population that arrived 15,000 years ago to 16,000 years ago, and then split into two different branches around 13,000 years. That's the common consensus, right? So now we got to think. One group that is dating back to 30,000 to 23,000 years old, and we got another group that's dating back from 10,000 to 13,000 years old. So now we have to look into the genetic evidence and see, is it one people? Is it two people? Let's look at the genetic structure. Let's look at the anthropology. Let's look at all that. So the first source I'm going to pull up is right here. It's from Harvard University. It is written by Dr. David Wright. He's known for the what's the name? He worked with anthropologists and do the DNA on these bones, right? So let's see what this is. This is the genetic evidence for two founding populations of the Americas. Genetic studies have consistently indicated a single common origin of Native American groups from Central and South America. However, some of the morphological studies have suggested a more complex picture whereby the Northeast Asian affinities of present-day Native Americans. So I want to stop right there. The Northeast Asian affinities. And your sources you brought up, you said that the modern-day Native Americans have Northeast Asian affinities. So that would kind of line up to what you were saying. Whereby the Northeast Asian affinities of present-day Native Americans contrast with a distinctive morphology seen in some of the earliest American skeletons, which share traits with present-day Australians, Melanesians, and island Southeast Asians. So I want to stop right there. So I asked you this before I went into it. You said that the people in the Amazon, they connect back to the Americas and the Americas only. But when we look at the genetic evidence, it tells a completely different story about the Amazon natives, and that's what we're about to get into here. Here we analyze a genome-wide data that shows some of the Amazon Native Americans descend partially from Native American groups. So partially, so that means some of their DNA match with the modern-day Native Americans. Let's see where the other DNA come from. That carry ancestry related to indigenous Australians, New Guineans, and Andaman Islanders than to any present-day Eurasian or Native American. So they have this signature that's not present in Native Americans, Eurasians, or Native Americans. Now let's go deeper, y'all. Remember what we just went over. This signature is not present to the same extent. Damn, my shit tweaking. Y'all can hear me? Put a one in the chat, y'all can hear me. It say reconnected on his side. You there? It keeps saying reconnecting. You good?
Yeah, I'm listening.
All right, bet. That's any present day Native American. So now we're gonna go into here. It says this signature is not present to the same extent or in all in present Northern and Central Americans or in a 12,600-year-old associated genome. What we see right here, y'all? Clovis. So they saying that this genetic signature is not present in that 12,000-year-old Clovis culture where all modern-day Native Americans come from, right? Suggesting a more diverse set of founding populations in the Americas than previously accepted. So you have populations that's dating back to 23,000 years, and you got one that's dating back to just 12,000 years. And this 12,000 years are modern-day Native Americans. Modern-day Native Americans. These are two distinct people. So let's keep going. Okay, hold on. Okay, so Northern American and Arctic groups also traced each other apart, their ancestry, to more recent waves of migration. So the Northern Native American traces its ancestry to more recent wave of migration. Ancient genomic evidence has showed the first Alcoa American ancestor is present in an individual with the Clovis technology in North America dating back to, there we go, we keep going back to that date, 12,000 years old, right? And the mitochondrial DNA have suggested that it was also present in 13,000, not the 23,000. So let's see what they say about some of the earliest American skeletons. In contrast, some of the morphological analysis of the earliest American skeletons, right? Let's go back. In contrast, some of the morphological analysis of the earliest American skeletons in the Americas have suggested the characteristics of the Paleocene and early Holocene skeletons fall outside the variation of present-day Native Americans. So the earliest American skeletons fall outside the variation of present-day Native Americans, because we know the Native Americans, they possess these Asiatic-like features. So when they did the test, what do it fall into? Instead, fall within the variation of present-day indigenous Australians, Melanesians, so-called Negrito groups from Southeast Asia, and some sub-Saharan African groups. So here we have scientists that state in two distinct populations based off of genetics and based off of morphological analysis. So we're going to go on to the next source. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me know if I'm running out of time, y'all. Okay, here go another source from another scientist. The cranial morphology of the early American skeletons from Lago Santa, Brazil. Implications for the new settlement of the New World. It says comparative morphological studies of the earliest American skeletons of the New World have shown that whereas the late prehistoric, recent, and present Native Americans tend to exhibit a cranial morphology similar to modern Northern Asians, short and wide neocrania, high orthogonic and broad faces, and relatively high and narrow orbits. And nose. The earliest South Americans tend to have more similar to present Australians, Melanesians, and Sub-Saharan Africans, narrow and long neocrania, low faces, and relatively low, broad orbit noses. However, most of their previous studies of the early American human remains were based on small cranial samples. Herein, we compare the large samples of early American skeletons ever studied, 81 skulls from Lago Santa, with the worldwide data sets representing a global morphological variation in humans through 3 different multivariate analyses. The results obtained from the multivariate analysis confirm a close morphological affinity between South American Paleo-Indians and the Austro-Melanesian groups, supporting the hypothesis that 2 distinct biological populations could have colonized the New World in the Paleocene and Holocene transition. So this is an older study. The one I showed you in the beginning is a newer study. So this is still going on. Let me pull up my other source. We just gonna stick strictly to genetics right now.
Not to interrupt, just while you pausing, I did give you a 15-minute timer, so.
All right, bet. Okay, so when we talk about these haplogroups, y'all, we gotta realize where these haplogroups. Oh shit! Specifically, when we talk about haplogroups, that's in the Americas, they descend from other haplogroups. So when we talk about haplogroup D, so on and so forth, it descends from the basal M lineage. So y'all know what the basal M lineage is. Basal M is connected to Southeast Asian population. So this study is the large-scale mitochondrial DNA analysis in Southeast Asia reveals the evolutionary effects of cultural isolation and multi-ethnic populations in Myanmar. So when we talk about haplogroup M, which is the ancestor of a lot of these modern-day Native American groups, was found in prehistoric America. So this comes from Scientific Direct. Mitochondrial haplogroup M discovered in prehistoric North America, right? So haplogroup M comes from Southeast Asia, which is represented highly. Damn, I'm running out of time. It's highly represented amongst the Angi population, which would be Negrito groups of Southeast Asia. And when we look at the studies, right, we find haplogroup M in the Americas. And when we look at haplogroup M comes from the Andaman Islands and the Negrito people. And when we look at the studies, damn, I don't know if it's blurred. Hold on, let me wipe my shit off. My bad, y'all. This shit tweaking. But when we look at the studies, man, we see that the Angi DNA is represented from the Andaman Islands in these populations in the Americas. So the DNA is still there. And the haplogroups is found in ancient America. And one more thing I want to show that I'm a yield. When we talk about these indigenous American haplogroups, I have one myself, and I'm going to pull up my DNA for reference to show what these people say about the DNA or the people. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I thought I was logged in. Let me log in real quick. And that's my last thing I'm gonna show. And if I'm taking too long, we could just come back around. Just let me know. I'm logging in now.
Here's your timer, family. 15-minute timer.
All right, back. Go ahead. I just went back around.
You want to present something? All right. So yeah, in this part of the debate is where we kind of like give the cross examination. I was really genuinely hoping to like question some of the evidence pertaining to the topic of the debate. I did not hear now time black people substantiated being in America prior to colonialism or being indigenous. I'm sorry, being indigenous to America. I did not hear black people indigenous to America. I did not hear that. Heard some shit about Australia. You know, we kind of confirmed in the beginning what black is. But I guess just to respond, I will go over some of the information. Y'all,
Do I gotta read my opening statement again?
you off mute.
Yeah, I know I'm off mute.
All right, hold on. All right, let me start my time. What's up now?
I said, do I have to use my opening statement again? I mean, we were speaking genetically about the people in the Americas, and you brought up the Clovis culture, and I'm showing you that a culture existed
Oh, you
pre-Clovis.
don't got to try to explain nothing during my
Oh
time.
no. I'm just making sure we on a. You get what I'm saying? Because you trying to. I see what you're trying to do, bro.
I'm just trying to get my time, brother.
All right, go ahead.
Let me start my shit off, bro. Forgot where I was at, man. I haven't not do that. Okay, yeah, I was gonna go. Yeah, like I said, I was gonna cross reference this, even though like I said, I had to do my Eminem, right? Because Clarence, two nice parents. We already talked about this. Right? But like I said, we talking about people who have these genetics, right? These are the people who populate 70,000 years ago. This is their migration. We say weak. We already went over this. Weak signal related to these people. I think we're conflating right now. That's what I said. Everything that my opponent is doing, we already discussed in the beginning. As far as the conflation, right, or the misinterpretations of these words. Let me go to his study right here. This is his study right here, from where he quoted the genetic evidence that shows that the first Native Americans came from one population that arrived 15,000 years ago, split 13,000 years ago, right? This is confirmation. Studies confirm that first Americans come before Columbus. If it's not saying anywhere in here that they come from Africa, which I can put in, I can search the whole page for Africa. If nothing in here says Africa, nothing about the debate is being substantiated, right? What about black? We'll put black in here. Nothing in here says black, right? If it's 0 out of 0 for black, then it's not pertinent to debate, right? Nothing in here say Negro. We'll try Negro just in case. Nothing here say Negro, right? What do you think it's going to say in here, y'all? Do you think I have some hits for Asia? I got some hits for Asia. You know, so this initial migration of ancestors of all present-day Native Americans happened no earlier than 23,000 years ago. But y'all, don't y'all remember that's literally what I showed y'all? Don't y'all remember this map? Everything I said is being confirmed. This is the part I was waiting for, to cross-examine anything that you said. But like I said, I did it before you even said it. Pay attention, y'all. We're talking about black people in America prior to colonialism. If none of them haplogroups that you mentioned is from here, right? And there's no arrows that you can show from these scientific studies, the map of the early human migration, right? If you can't show us nothing, then you didn't complete your task. You didn't address the debate. Let me get on this part right here. The craniomorphology shit, because I already talked about this too, but just give me time to go in depth about it. Let me check my time, make sure my time. Okay, make sure, just wanted to go in depth about it. Like when we talk about all these skulls and this craniomorphology and this craniometry, y'all got to understand. This is what I referenced when I'm surprised. Thankfully, he didn't use the word Negroid, because I thought I was gonna have to tackle that one. The genetic results of the new study categorically, and this is agency, FAPS. This is from the, y'all go look into this, because this is from the Hispanics did this. I'm sorry, I mean, so the Latinos did this. Because he referenced the Lagoa Santa people, so I'm just referencing what he talked about. Genetic study of the new study showed categorically that there was no significant connection between Lagoa Santa people and groups from Africa or Australia. So the hypothesis that Lusia's people derived from a migratory wave, Lusia's people, the Lagoa Santa, from a migratory wave prior to the ancestors of today's Amerindians has been disproved. On the contrary, the DNA shows that Lusia's peoples were entirely Amerindian. A new bus has replaced Lusia in the Brazilian scientific pantheon. Caroline Wilkinson, a forensic anthropologist at Liverpool, John Moore, University of UK, a disciple of Naive, this is the dude who actually did it. Naive, right here, I'll go into that next, has produced a facial reconstruction of one of the individuals exhumed from Lapa de Casanto. The reconstruction has been based on a retro-deformed digital model of the skull. Right. Accustomed as we are to the traditional facial construction of Lusia with strongly African features, this new facial reconstruction reflects physiognomy of first inhabitants of Brazil far more accurately, displaying the generalized and indistinct features from whom the great Amerindian diversity was established. DNA reveals Lusia was Amerindian, like indigenous, the topic of the debate. People now. That's what the study says, man. That's what the study has said. How did I know he was going to do that? That's crazy. Y'all see how I laid that up? From the last shit I was talking about today, it's just a layup with all these people. This is discrepancy right here of the craniometrics. Y'all don't want to get into that. This is the Neve, I tell you. This is the dude who Berwin is a disciple of. Let me cross-reference. What else did I have for you? Like I said, I was just hoping that we was going to talk about black people. You know what I'm saying? Because black people means to be of sub-Saharan African descent. Like, I can literally, and y'all, pause this part of the debate, because I can literally go 2 days ago, holla at OHF, tell me clip that part of the live where my opponent was quoted saying, I'm not trying to refute that. That's what black means. We have all confirmed this how many times? I can go back to, let me show y'all. I can go exactly and pull where this definition is at in my folder that fast every single time. And this is from 2 years ago. Dark-skinned group of people of African descent. Look right here. As a preferred designation, right, of North Americans of African origins, black gained acceptance in the 1960s, rapidly replacing Negro, right? So we go from, and then they look at color. So color, Negro, black, African descent is all synonymous, right? He didn't talk about that. He didn't address the debate in his main thesis. We talk about black people. We were talking about our genetics. We are majority E1, B1A haplogroups. I'll confirm it. Right? The differences in the racial distribution of definite antigens that discovered in 1954 found that the overwhelming majority of the African descent had the hydride phenotype in African Americans as approximately 88 to 100% in African people, including more than 90% of West African people. This phenotype is exceedingly rare in whites. So we're talking about black people in population genetics, African Americans with Africans, 68% share phenotype. I probably got some more stuff on there too. Like, that's what black is. You gotta compare it to like a haplogroup. Like pull a person like Henrietta Lacks up, right? And go to her haplogroups. And we talking about HeLa, the Henrietta Lacks cell. This is the reason why y'all can't get HPV now. The HeLa mitochondrial genome is of African descent and is a member of the African L3 haplogroup. Listen, y'all. The HeLa Henrietta Lacks mitochondrial genome is of African descent and is a member of the African L3 haplogroup. Oh, I swear to God, I just freaked out. Hold on, let me go here. Let me go here. Let me go here. Because I really just could freestyle this shit. But we talk about the genetic part, right? We talked about the Native Americans. Majority of a black people's haplogroup is L, as far as on the maternal side, is L2A. L2A, we find that approximately 22%. Let me go over here. All right. The genetic is, let me go to this one right here. Open my source up. Let that load. The African American genetic record is clear, bro. We are definitely of African descent. So anything biological, we're talking about black people, we're talking about, obviously we're African Americans. We're in Southeast America predominantly, or our ancestors are from, ironically, the other side of the transatlantic slave trade in West Africa. The dominant paternal Y chromosome haplogroup of African Americans is E1B1A, found at approximately 75 to 89%. And pull that source up too. Let me let it pop up, man. Reject all them cookies. All right, the imprint of slave trade in the slave trade in African American populations, mitochondrial DNA, Y chromosome, right? Where my source at? Okay, we start right here. I want to do the whole thing. The complex variety of African American communities, check my time, has been well studied, notably genetic data revealing on high diversity among them. These populations could be admixed Afro-Brazilian, groups of the Sao Paulo, whose origins are 26%. This is the part I want to get to. They can have a balanced admixed profile, as the Brazilian community of Cometa, 53% African, 24% European, and 23% Amerindian. But some of them show relatively preserved African ancestry, as the Gullah Geechee in the United States at 96% African, right? 3% European, 1% Amerindian, 90% African. So when we talk about the people in America, the Gullah Geechee of all people, right? Not the Guale, don't play. 96% African descent. Let me see what my other source talk about. You know what I'm saying? So West African population, that's where we're from. Specifically those from the Bight of Benin, the Gold Coast, West Central Africa, the exact regions where the transatlantic slave trade drew its captives from. The second most common Y-DNA haplogroup among African Americans is going to be what? R1B. Then that's a Western European haplogroup. Unfortunately, and then guess what? The third one, I believe the third one is too. But that just confirms the history, and that just confirms the paper trail. So just so we go over this, because this is my rebuttal. Let me see it. Like the definitions, everything I said, the definitions, the geography, the archaeology, the anthropology, the cultural retention, the genetics, the phenotype, the conflation, everything has been talked about today. You notice it's going up. Y'all got to understand. The earliest historical reference, I showed y'all a tad bit of all this shit today. Henrietta Lacks. I thought we was going to get into them talking about conflating these shit, but bro, understand. When you talk about our DNA, the dawn of matrilineal diversity is in Africa. The dawn of matrilineal diversity. I'm just going to, as soon as they say Africa, and just stop there, bro. Just go to Africa as soon as they stop there. All right. The phylogeny of maternally inherited mitochondrial DNA, mtDNA, has played a pivotal role in this model by anchoring our most recent maternal common ancestors to sub-Saharan Africa and suggesting a single dispersal wave out of that continent. Like, where else do you come from? How else do you get here? I said black people are not indigenous to America. My opponent has failed to substantiate how they are indigenous to America. He has failed to define black people and has regressed and referred it back to a description, right? When we're talking about a racial group. And even if we're talking about prior to the 18th century, which I definitely specified in my opening statements when they came up with these concepts and typologies. Prior to that, everything that they was talking about was referencing sub-Saharan Africans. And all that has been stamped. All that has been stamped. The L3, like at the end of the day, You just haven't like checked your maternal line, because majority of us go back to Africa. Go back to Africa. An analysis of 369 complete African L3 sequences maximizes at 70,000. 70,000. This is years ago, y'all, just so y'all know. 70,000 years ago, virtually ruling out a successful exit. For everything is talking about, shout out Henrietta Lacks. The haplogroup is a group of alleles inherited from a single parent. E1B1A, also known as EM2, forms part of the EB3A haplogroup found in human Y chromosome, making it paternally inherited. Paternally inherited. All right. Look, it should be noted, however, the E1B, this is or the E1B1A, originated 40,000 years ago in the Horn of Africa. And the Horn of Africa migrated to West Africa approximately 23,000 years ago. I did not get any information substantiating these people with this paternal line in West and West Central Africa. Right? West and West Central Africa, E1B1A. I did not see that in America. I did not see haplogroups migration substantiated. I didn't see phenotype substantiated. I didn't see the primary source of substantiated. I didn't see black people. I saw.
Your time up, bro. Your time up.
Is it? My alarm ain't went off. It's like I got another minute.
You had to restart it because my timer going on.
Go ahead, you got it.
All right, yeah, you keep running around this black thing and African. I never said that your African came to America, so like I don't understand why you keep going back into that.
You talking to me?
Yeah, you.
I'm just talking about the topic of the debate. You agreed to a topic.
Yes, but I never said that African people was in the Americas.
Yeah, but that's
Black
what I'm saying.
people.
When I defined my terms, I explained that black is.
But I define my terms too. When we pull up the definitions, you put up your definitions, I put up my definitions.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm talking about. The people gonna be able to decide if they understand that a people is a noun or if an adjective. That's gonna be the ones to decide with you. I don't want to make any comment on that.
All right, that's cool, bro. But let's keep going. Okay, when we look at some of the evidence of some of the earliest bones, give me a second. Let me pull it up. Let me pull the study up for y'all. And we're going to talk about the L3 haplogroup, E1B1A, so on and so forth. I'm trying to get the study for y'all. All right, so now I'm on my crack screen, y'all. Y'all know all my information in this one, but this is the damn, what the fuck did it go? My bad. Hold on, let me go back. This is the population genetics of the genomic evidence for the Paleocene and recent population history of Native Americans. And they did a controlled study where they did a test on the chinchilla mummies, and they pulled the actual genetic evidence from the chinchilla mummies. So I'm going to show y'all. Hold on, my bad, y'all. All right, here we go. All right, so this right here, this is the study right here. Damn. This is a man buried in Chile, ancient South America. When we scroll down, we see the date that it go back to 4,000 BCE, so around 8,000 years ago. This predate like Egypt, so on and so forth. But like I showed y'all, they actually did the study where they actually did the genetic structure on this bone. So when we look at the genetics of this bone, this bone is, he have a percentage of Native American, which is 35%. And he has a percentage of Africa. Mind you, this is 8,000 years ago in America, y'all. 8,000 years ago in America. This bone has a 33% of African DNA in the Americas. So this chinchilla mummy that was in the Americas is basically half American and half African. How did an African get to America 8,000 years ago? And this is backed up by genetic studies. So let's go to the reference. So anybody that want to look it up, let me scroll down. Let's go to the reference. This is scientific reference. We can click on a view the publication. It's going to take you right to the National Library of Medicine, where I showed you guys the population genetics, genomics of the evidence of the Paleocene, and recent population history of Native Americans. So we see that, even though I didn't even want to go there, you get what I'm saying? We see that the bone, the mummy that they dug up, in fact, had African ancestry, 8,000 years. And 8,000 years, if y'all look at the date, that actually predates Egypt. You know what I'm saying? But let's keep going. So that's one instance. Now I'm going to show you guys DNA of so-called Black Americans. Because he said, look at the maternal line. We don't research our maternal line, so on and so forth. So I'm going to use myself as an example, and I'm going to use my group as an example. When we look at this genetic structure of the modern day so-called African American or Black American, because Black Americans are not a homogenous group of people in the Americas. So we see that African DNA is in Americas, and I think people misrepresent these haplogroups when we talk about the Americas. So specifically, my haplogroup is D1, which would be considered the so-called Amerindian. It says, you share an ancient maternal lineage with Naya, a Paleo-American girl from the Yucatan, and she is one of the oldest bones that's found in the Americas. But when we look at the reference, right, let's see what it says. From the bone samples, researchers have determined that she carried the maternal haplogroup D1, a lineage that is still relatively common in Central and South America, despite the genetic similarities. However, they found Naya's features look more different than her modern counterparts. And when you actually look into the study, they said that Naya looked so-called African Melanesian. So going back into the study, they are calling these people so-called, they look like sub-Saharan Africans, which that would so-called be Black. I mentioned in Africans, sub-Saharan Africans, Melanesian, or Negritos, which mean little Black people. But let's keep going. Let me know when my timer up, y'all. Let me know when my timer up. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna show y'all is the something called a PCA plot. All right, so before we get into the PCA plot, my bad. What is the PCA doing? Your DNA contains millions of small variations called SNPs. The PCA looks at thousands of millions of SNPs, measured how similar or different people are, compresses their information into 2 to 3 main axes, and plots each person as a dot. So we do these genetic studies where we can test our populations against modern day Africans and ancient African people. So when we look at the PCA plot, each dot equals one person or a population. We could just scroll down to the bottom to interpretation. Dots close together is genetically similar. Dots far apart are genetically different. Clustered mean they have shared ancestry, and people between clusters have mixed ancestry. So when we do this PCA plot, this right here is a representation of my team right here. We got a total of 9 people on our reference population. And if you see us, our dots are not far apart. We all consider so-called Black Americans. And we have some type of shared ancestry as being so-called Black Americans. But when we test our genetics against other populations in Africa, like we see here, we go to West and Central Africa, we got the Mbuti, which will be the pygmy groups, the Khoisan, we got the Yoruba, we got the Embo, we got the Congo, we got South Africa, And mind you, we just went over their interpretation. You see how all these dots are close together and touching? That means that they have shared ancestry. But when we talk about the so-called modern Black American, in my group, we are circled right here. So we can see on this group that we are genetically different from so-called Africans today. We are genetically different. So when you say that all Black Americans have the E1B1A, descend from Africa, all Black Americans have the L3 haplogroup, descend from Africa, that's false, bro. You spreading misinformation. Misinformation. So let's get into the historical. Let me know if my time up, if I'm going too far. So now let's get into the historical
Oh yeah, my bad. I
accounts.
had the volume off. I had the volume off. Your time. Yeah, my bad.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. I'm glad I landed right there because I literally didn't say all. I said 73 to 88%. I remember verbatim what I said. I would never say anything is like all inclusive, except that
It's a
Black
lot,
people are of African descent. And if
right?
anyone lied,
But out of my whole group,
if anyone lied, it's you. Told a bald face lie. Hold on, let me get this shit out right here. Where's
a
this study?
bold-faced lie.
If I didn't
About what?
hold on, if I didn't go to a different damn study on it. Hold on, let me see. About the about this one right here. You said this study took you to some of these African. You literally made a claim and did substantiate with the source. Because once again, I told you I'm doing a cheat code.
That's not
Nothing in this dynamic evidence for the Pleistocene and recent population history. This is your source of Native Americans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nothing of this says these people is African. That's what you said. And y'all can rewind it. Rewind it probably about 7 minutes.
Do you want me to
African is in there
represent?
one time.
Do you want me to represent it and clarify? I mean, I can.
No. It's it. They can rewind it at this point. I'm clarifying.
I mean, you misrepresenting it though.
No, I'm not. You said I heard what he said, and y'all can go ahead and rewind.
Hold on. So I didn't.
My point for that.
Go ahead.
All right. So let me go ahead and show my time. This time is only gonna be 5 minutes. This is really the closing argument. Hold on. Let me get my timer right for y'all. Fuck. All right, get the timer right. All right, so as I close, once again, nothing was substantiated. I'm trying to see Black people, you know what I'm saying? That's why I said, I love at the beginning of this debate, you have to define terms. Black people, a noun, y'all. Let me just go elementary. A noun is a person, place, or thing. People, persons, plural. All right? Peoples is person plural. So when we're talking about Black people, we're talking about a noun. We're not describing a people as Black. That's literally a color. No one is Black. Not even the Sudanese are not even Black. Everybody's shades of wheat. Let y'all tell it. I went over the melanin map. It says dark brown. Right? So nobody's Black to even reference that. Let's not do that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say, when we're talking about these earlier descriptors, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the race of people, and that has been substantiated on my side with the history, with the primary sources, with the genetics, with the DNA. All right. And on the other side, in America, with the Native Americans DNA, we learned today that there's what they haplogroups are and what the subclades are and how they migrate from origin. We seen that my opponent will literally lie on his source. Y'all, please rewind that part. But he said he did not confirm it. He said the link took him here, and it says that African words only mentioned this one time here. Africa is only mentioned one time. So that's why I need to understand. Why are we conflating? Why are we trying to force an argument where there is none? Because it wasn't even addressed. So let me go ahead and look at these up. I did want to go over something else. Hold on. Yeah, I just want to understand y'all. So from the beginning, from defining these terms, right, to presenting our thesis, Black and Sub-Saharan African descent, indigenous Native Americans that migrate over here in Burundi approximately 25,000 years. With some instances saying as early as 30,000 years ago. It don't matter because none of the human remains, right? None of the archaeology, none of the anthropology, none of the scientific disciplines used to establish anything confirm this. And this is why we have to regress to pseudosciences when we're talking about. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. I'm glad I remember that. When we're talking about these people's haplogroups, the Chinchero mummies date back to 9,000 years ago are found in northern Chile. Oh, they're found in northern Chile. Yeah, we know we're not from Chile, so why are we even playing? All right, associated with Native Americans' mitochondrial DNA haplogroup C1. This was the first thing I went over, C1. So at the end of the day, y'all got to understand. We know this is not a debate. We know we on some John Henry Clark shit. This is just how we set up the teaching moments. Because somehow this PSYOP has got all of these black people claiming to be indigenous or Indians, but they're not claiming it the same way this one is. This one actually has a Native American haplogroup in that D1. What does this mean for him specifically? It may mean that he has an ancestor on his maternal line that just may be Native American, right? But if you present as black, then you have the same story as majority of African Americans. Right, that means you are at least, once again, not all, but 73 to 88% likely to have a African paternal DNA. If not, you have a European DNA, right, in R1B, which I literally went over. Right, it's impossible to refute. Let me show you. The second most common Y-DNA haplogroup among African Americans is R1B. Right, and that's after E1B1A, which I said verbatim. I thought I was right. The dominant haplogroup of Western Europe, reflecting the documented, historical, verified, violent, forced reproduction imposed by European slaveholders on West African women. Right. This is when we get into parto sequitur venom, right? And this is why all of our maternal DNAs, for the most part, trace back to a black woman, and the paternal DNA is only that percentage. Right, and the other has to account for those forced sexual violences. Right, under 41% coming from yeah. So at the end of the day, the Native Americans carry Northeast Asian Siberian DNA. Black Americans carry West Central Sub-Saharan African DNA. Secondary European component reflecting that forced reproduction under slavery. These are two genetically distinct founding populations with origins on opposite sides of the planets. Genetics don't lie. I'm not trying to conflate this for argument. It's literally what it is. There's no black African synonymous DNA in America prior to colonialism. Dark-skinned people, yeah, they're all over the globe, right? But dark skin is not black, right? We know we have various shades of melanin, of pigment. You wouldn't say a light-skinned person isn't black just because they melanin matches somebody from Italy. So that's why I say we're not talking about descriptors. We're talking about phenotype and geographical origin, most importantly, geographical origin and the convergent evolution of the adaptation solution that appears independently amongst unrelated populations, once again, because of those same environmental pressures. Whether that's Aboriginal Australians, Melanesians, Tamil, Papua New Guinean, any of these dark-skinned groups on the east side of Africa, they're not black. Are you?
All right, so a few things. You said that. Let me go to my what's the name. The first thing I want to address is you said I lied about my source. So, what you do is you don't do real research. You click on a study and you just go and keyword search Africa. That's not how you do it. So let's go to the study again. Let's see was I lying, y'all. Let's go to the study. This is how you do real genetic research. Y'all know I do this genetic shit, right? So this is the study, right? DaDonDadda that I was lying about. I want to clarify. Make sure I ain't making shit up and putting shit in your mouth. That's what you said, right?
Yeah. Closing argument time. They can rewind it and verify everything, but your time is going.
All right, bet. Say less. So this is the source he said I was lying about. He keyword searched African, right? And he didn't find it because it's only the abstract. So let's go to the full text, y'all. Hold on real quick. Let's go to the full text. Let's go to the full text. Now what we got, y'all? We got the full study. We got the full study, right? So let's scroll all the way down to the bottom of the study. Real time. Let's click on supplementary material, right? Let's click on the supplementary data. Let's see where it takes us to. Supplementary data for the genomic evidence of the Paleocene and the recent population history of Native Americans, right? So let's go to the Chinchilla mummies. Let's find where they talk about the Chinchilla. Oh, is that it right here? The Chinchilla mummies, right? These mummies originate in the northern sector of, I don't know how to pronounce that word, Chile, where they was excavated in the 1990s. The mummy was found in a shallow grave in a sandy rock terrain. All bodies were fragmented and grouped together and presented as artificial mummies. The sample that was processed in the study derives from Medris Ecno C2, right? So we see this, right? This is the Chinchilla mummy. The bone that was tested was Medris Ecno C2, right? We see that, right? So let's go to the genetic structure. We got the study, right? Now let's go to the genetic structure of that bone. But let's clarify. Let's make sure it's that bone, y'all. Let's clarify, make sure. So this is a man buried in Chile, South America, right? Let's scroll down. Let's see. Chinchilla, right? Let's scroll down. Hold on, where is it at? Hold on, let's scroll down. Where is it at, y'all? Let's go back to the study. Let's see if it's the same shit. Let's go back to the study. We don't wanna, you know what I'm saying, make assumptions. We don't want to make assumptions, so let's go back to the study. Damn, where the fuck you go? Hold on, my bad, y'all. Oh, here we go. So let's go back to the Chinchilla mummies. Where did it go? Hold on, goddamn. Let's scroll back up. Chinchilla mummies. All right, Chinchilla. We see it right here. We got the location, right? We got the sample name. So let's look at the location, y'all. We see it. Let's look at the name. You see it? C2. Let's go back to the bone. Go back to the bone. Look at the location, right? We see it, y'all. That match up? Put a 1 in the chat if that match up. Put a 1 in the chat if that match up, y'all. Is that the same bone, right? So let's look at the genetic structure of the bone. African. This shit it has African DNA. 8,000 years old in America, bro. What are we talking about? Nobody's fucking lying. So let's scroll all the way back down. Let's do this in real time, y'all. Scroll all the way back down. Let's view the original publication. The reference is going to take you to the study. Let's go to the full text. Let's click on the full text. We go click here again. We go scroll all the way down till we see what? The supplementary data file. Hold on, I scrolled down too far, my bad. Supplementary material. We go click on it. What is it going to take us to again, y'all? The supplementary data, where they talk about what? The Chinchilla mummies. Right? Stop fucking playing with me like somebody lying, nigga. Since you wanna make it say, oh, black is African, which I didn't even want to go. Prove to me that African DNA wasn't in America 8,000 years ago, because obviously it was, based on the National Library of Medicine.
All right. Well, that was your closing statements. You know that, right? You know that was what you did. You that was supposed to be your summary of your thesis.
I mean, since you wanted to change the whole topic saying black means African, and I never showed that African DNA was in America's pre-Columbus, that's what I just did.
Yeah. So we agreed to this, right? We agreed into the debate, right? As far as the opening statements is to define the terms, right? So black and indigenous has to be defined, and I did just that. And
And I
you,
did it
and then
too.
I
I did
addressed
it
it,
too. Do we
and I
got to go back
addressed.
over it? I did it too. All right,
Well,
so
the thing, the
let's
difference
look
is
at
I
another
addressed how
early. What's
you.
the name? And the 1600s. Hold on, bro. Hold on. Let's look at the 1600 definition of indigenous. Do
Yeah,
you
that's
see
not going to
that? You
predate. That's
talking
not
about
going to
modern
predate.
terms?
You know, that's not going to predate
How is it
1646.
not
No,
going
I
to
showed.
predate it,
Listen, what date did I just say? What date did I say when Thomas Brown wrote the word indigenous into the American lexicon?
bro?
That's why I
Obviously
said
these words
I wish you
change
would have
over
been
time,
listening to
bro.
me. I wish
Hold
you
on.
would
You
have.
want to stick to one time frame for a definition of a word when obviously they change over time. So if we talking about the 1600s, we have to use 1600s definition. If we talk about the 1700s, we have to use 1700 definition. When we talk about the 1800s, we have to use 1800 definition, so on and so forth. We can't use
Mhm.
2025 a definition for something that happened in the
Yeah, I'm not.
1700s. It don't work like that, bro.
I'm not. Once again, I told you, and then like people can rewind this. You obviously just have a selective listening problem, right? Everybody
Nah,
knows
nah, you
Thomas
do,
Brown.
bro.
Listen, let me. Can I get? I'll let you talk for real. I genuinely let you talk. Everybody knows that Thomas Brown, Pseudodoxia epidemica, 1646, predates 1670, right? And I showed the primary source. You don't remember that part of the debate? Don't make me do it, bro. Don't make. I don't want to recap. They can recap on their own, right? But that's what I said. I didn't just use one definition. I literally did multiple. But you just got to listen. I went to the UN as well.
I
And
did
the same thing. And
multiple
the
as
same
well,
thing for
bro.
black. I didn't just stay in. I didn't just stay in the 18th century. But I specified in the beginning all of this. I specified 15th, 16th, 17th century, and 18th century when they came up with these racial typologies. When they created these
Bro,
social
you
constructs of
did not
place.
go through every century,
I didn't go through every census.
bro. You didn't pull up every century definition words. You didn't,
You
bro.
said I
Because in
didn't
the
go through every
1700s,
census.
century.
I didn't say I went through every century, but I told you I referenced it. Hmm.
Exactly. So what did
And
Negro
that's
mean in the
that was the
17th century?
yeah.
It just
This is
meant
from the
dark skin, bro.
this source is literally from the 17th century, brother, and that's what I'm saying.
All right,
I
bro.
told you the whole time. I ran the whole thing down from you, bro. You don't remember John Rolfe? You don't remember when I went to the 17th century and told you what they was referring to us as? That's why I say just do the recap. Just play it back, and you'll see how like precisely you got cooked.
No, I mean,
So you just got to
I
start
see the
listening.
game that you tried to play. You get what I'm saying? I never said that
No, this is
sub-Saharan
no, this is
African
no.
was
Let's
in
be
America.
frank. Let's be frank. It's honestly a
Like,
game
come
you're
on now,
trying to play.
gang.
It's honestly a game you're trying to
I'm
play.
not trying to play a game.
You're trying to conflate black with dark skinned people, and I made the distinction clear, and you didn't. Your whole point it was very vague, and that's
What?
why this is why I want to get all of y'all in this box, so we can compare and contrast the scholarship and lack thereof,
Bro,
because
if
y'all
you
don't
think you
like
got
that.
scholarship game, you got it, bro. You got it. I ain't gonna lie.
It's not about thinking, bro. Once again, it's
Like,
about
what
being
the
able to. It's about the
bro?
people
You
being
try
able
hold on,
to. Go
you
ahead.
trying to put me in a box with modern terms for me to prove that so-called sub-Saharan Africans were in America. No, come on now, bro. You trying
That's
to
what black
put me
means,
in a box
brother.
to win? No, bro. You try to put me in a box to win the debate, and I still prove that Africans were in America. African DNA was in America,
You
8,000 years
definitely
old.
what and
Like, what
what?
are we
Okay,
talking about?
okay. So just before we close, with what DNA did you prove that with? What was the name of that DNA? What was the name of the DNA sample? What was the name
It
of that
was a
haplogroup?
chinchorro mummy.
What was the name of the
Chinchorro mummy from
haplogroup?
Chile, bro.
What was the name of the
From
haplogroup?
Chile.
What was the
You
name of the
tell me.
haplogroup?
You tell
I'm
me.
telling you, no.
It
I'm
wasn't
saying that
deep.
I'm saying that you
It
can't tell
wasn't.
me. The part of my debate is I'm saying you can't tell me what that haplogroup is because there's none.
There's no
Right.
haplogroup. No, you hold on. No. You
You
want
just
me to
said
show
that
you?
there's African
I don't know.
DNA in
I seen
America.
you, bro. I seen you looking it up and you couldn't find it. So now you want now
So
you want me to
no,
show you so you can go look it up.
no,
But
no,
what
I
I will show
don't.
you again,
No, I don't.
hold on, but
You just
what
said
I
there
will
was
show you
African
again,
DNA. I'm
I will
asking
show
for
you it's
clarity.
in Chile, right?
What's the
I will show you it's in
haplogroup?
Chile. Look, y'all. Genetics.
Bro, they just
Genetics
see me
of
look
this
that
ancient
up.
individual. Hold
You know
on.
they see me put
This
that
is
on the
the
screen, bro.
genetics of this ancient individual in America, 8,000 years old. He has African DNA. What are we
What's the
talking
DNA
about?
called?
That's the whole
What's the
debate,
DNA
right?
called?
That's the
No,
whole
it's not.
debate, right?
It's not.
That's the whole proof that black
Can I
people,
speak for
sub-Saharan Africans or
this
African
will take
people
under a
was in
minute. This will take
America.
under a minute.
Come on
This will
now,
take under a
bro.
minute.
Come
This
on
will
now,
take under a
gang.
minute.
Come on
This
now,
will take
bro.
under a minute while you complain because I feel like you're getting ready to
Come
get
on
rug
now,
and
bro.
crash out. You said the same thing 7 times, right?
Nah. I mean, I proved my point,
You
bro.
literally okay, but
I
let me
won the
respond.
debate, gang.
I'll let you talk. Let me respond. This is what your error is. No, that's not the topic of the debate. What you ask. The topic of the debate is black people are not indigenous to America. You got African DNA. So this is why I say there's no such thing. What is African DNA?
Bro,
I said black people
I ain't
means
gonna lie,
let me
bro.
just
I'm
land. I know
done
you
taking
interrupted me. I
debates
know you
with
want
you
to interrupt.
niggas,
I know you want to
dog.
crash. I know you want to drop. It's all good. But let me just land. I'll let you talk for a reason because I want to be able to talk. So there's this shit is non-existent. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about black, and I specifically laid out the definition that this is sub-Saharan African descent. Sub-Saharan African descent. Africa is not specifying any answer. It's not specifying any genetic lineage. What's the haplogroup? Like, what's the DNA? You said African DNA. It could be North African DNA, right? Hypothetically, because even though I've already showed your source, they can rewind that. I think I went ahead and closed it. Oh, no, I didn't close it. Yeah, this is the one he talked about, the man buried in Chile, y'all. Come on, y'all. This is like you should run right now.
So,
MTDNA D4. If I cross
so they
reference,
got.
if I pull this up and I do and I put my and let you tell it, I do my little search for Asia and Africa. Which one you think gonna come up?
All right, so look, you saying that? So pull it up again. Let me see. Let me see. I want to make sure.
You want to make sure everybody knows. You said the man buried in Chile. All you have to do is scroll down. Talking
All
about
right,
I
so
don't read.
what's his paternal haplogroup? What's the Y DNA?
It's Q.
Let me see it. Let us see it, yo.
QM3. You want me to do that one? I'll do that one. Let's do that one. That's
All right,
even better.
bet. Okay, so that's my source. I pulled up, right?
Your source.
All right, so let's look at my source, y'all. Let's go. This is a man buried in Chile, right? Let's see his haplogroup. Let's see. You said his Y haplogroup was Q, right? Everybody seen that, right?
QM3 is your source. All you gotta do is scroll down.
His Y DNA is CT. Dumbass, it's not the same one.
It's
You think
your
you know some
source.
shit? You don't even know what you're talking about. What are you
CT?
talking about? That's not the
No,
same
no,
bone.
hold on. It's
It's not the
CT.
same bone.
Hold on.
It's
What
not
is
the
it? CT
same
what? Hold on.
bone.
It's CT what? Let's see how disingenuous you are
Exactly.
right
It's not
now.
the same bone, bro.
Let's see how disingenuous you are right now. It's
It's not the
CT
same
what?
bone.
Okay,
It's
you
not
said
the
that three
same bone,
times. We're trying to
bro.
move on. Now,
Like, come
what
on
is
now,
that?
bro. No, bro, you were just
No.
so confident. This is
He don't
your
want to show it.
source.
This is
This
what
is
I
you should
expected
run.
from you.
You should run right now. You should run. Didn't you just tell me to run? Because
You're
they had the
literally
D4
running.
happen. How? When it's
Because
two
you will
different
not put
people.
that DNA right back on the
Like, come
screen.
on now, bro.
Will you not? Is
You
it
embarrassing, bro.
okay? So you're not going to
You
show it, right?
embarrassing, Jay.
So you're
Bro,
not
I
going to
just
show the
showed it.
haplogroup. So let's get into
Bro,
it.
I just showed it.
What CT? What
Hmm?
disingenuous, y'all? This is what we
All right,
got.
so no,
See how
let's go
corporate right
through
now.
it.
This is what I
Hold
want the people
on,
to see more than
let
anything.
me present my source, bro. Let me present my source, y'all. Watch
No,
this.
just tell us where the
Yes.
haplogroup come from.
What are you talking about?
You want a monologue? Let's get down to it. You say it's a different haplogroup. Let's get down to it. Because QM3 come from Beringia, Siberia, and yet again, I'm waiting on this haplogroup, y'all. Let me just use CTM because the rest of it is a subclad anyway, y'all. And he don't
Let me.
want, he don't want to let us
Can y'all
see
hear
it.
me? Yeah, I had a phone call. Can y'all hear me? Put on one chat. Y'all hear me?
Man, you in this crowd participation ain't gonna save you, man. You gotta substantiate
What?
black people in America. Put a one in the
I
chat.
just
Ain't gonna
showed
save you.
it.
Okay, so you can't repeat that haplogroup. Yes or
I'm gonna
no?
present it myself.
No, you can't show the screen just like you just did.
I am. I'm gonna show it. I'm just pulling up my sources
But
so
no,
I can just
but
make
if
the
you
whole
just had it
thing.
on the screen, why is it taking you 17 minutes to get back to it?
Cause I'm pulling up my source,
No,
bro.
because you're
Relax.
disingenuous, and once again, that's what I want to
I'm not.
highlight
I'm
to the
not
chat.
disingenuous,
But
bro.
that's what I want to highlight to the chat more than anything. If that would be, you know what I'm saying? Like I say, show the screen, brother. We know how
I am.
this is literally paperwork. There you go, y'all. That's the trademark like him. He got that trademark.
What?
There you go. I'm saying this is you. This is my imitation of you. I told you. This the haplogroup.
Yeah. Okay, bro.
Here you go. Oh, you got it. Like this is so disingenuous, man.
All right.
I
So I'm about to show y'all real quick. I'm just pulling up my sources real quick.
don't know if we could do that while we on the shit. So
All right.
yeah,
So y'all, I'm about to show
I do
y'all.
appreciate you taking the debate for real.
I'm about.
I hope this implores other people to do the same thing, right? To get into these boxes because look, everybody over there, they over there on your side, paper.
You said what?
The people over there, they over there listening to you on your side.
Of course.
That's what I'm saying. This is what they want. They don't want to see that bullshit y'all running from a debate. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can't substantiate y'all. Either you feel like you're confident in your sources the way you present, or you running. It's pretty much it. Salute to you for not running. You on a treadmill, but you still right here.
All right, so let me show y'all, right? So what I pulled up, let me show you guys. This haplogroup Chinchero mummy. So the Chinchero mummy has CTM168, which is an African haplogroup, right? So when we go to CTM168 and we look at the migration map, you know what I'm saying? We see CTM168 in fucking Africa. What are we talking about, bro? It's in Africa, bro. And CTM168 birth haplogroup E1B1A. It birthed haplogroup E1B1B. All you African haplogroups, it was birthed by haplogroup CT. Huh? Nah. Nah. Ain't no fucking way. Ain't no fucking way. What are we talking about?
So that's what I'm saying.
Look up your
We got the we got the
look up your Rage
disingenuous
and Y Adam, bro.
we got the disingenuous king right here, bro.
How am I disingenuous?
Once again, cuz you go back and present the
See,
whole thing. Go back and present
how
the
am I
whole thing
disingenuous?
clearly. Because you ain't gonna present it clearly, and you're conflating and you're amalgamating shit that's not supposed to be together. Substantiate the migration then.
Hold on.
Hmm?
I'm about to pull it up. Hold on. I'm pulling up the phylogenetic tree so we can see from the start to the finish. Let's see. Man, this fucking iPad tripping.
CT1M68, right? CT1M68 chat.
Okay, so CTM168, right? CTM168 is the ancestor of all haplogroups CF and haplogroup DE, right? So haplogroup CTM168 birth haplogroup CF and birth haplogroup DE, y'all. Pay attention. So what is haplogroup DE? Let's look up haplogroup DE and let's see where that's at and where it come from.
You done?
No, I'm not done yet.
Oh, okay. Let me know when you're done so I can go ahead and do my thing.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on, let me just do it on my other iPad. This I don't act this stupid.
You
Hold
want me to
on,
go ahead and
y'all.
read
I'm
my
about to put
rebuttal
it
so
up.
you can respond to the rebuttal and at the
Go ahead,
same
go ahead,
time?
go ahead while I'm pulling it up.
All right, yeah. So this is a rare, deep-rooting African Y chromosomal haplogroup and its implications for the expansion of modern humans out of Africa. So humans outside Africa derive most their genetic ancestry from a single migration event 50 to 70,000 years ago. According to the current model supported by genetic data from genome-wide, this is a study, mitochondrial DNA and Y chromosome DNA, these are the studies, right? Analysis, the migrating population, check this out, y'all. The 70,000 years ago, I need not to close this map. I need not to close that migration map so y'all can see that's what that's, here we go. Right, that's what they talking about. Oh, okay. Where was I at? Migrating population carried only a small subset of African genetics, particularly strikingly. Oh no, I was at the beginning. My bad. That's what I was talking about. That 50 to 70, that's what that was right there. Hold on, let me move it back. Sorry, y'all. I'm doing it real quick. According to the current, okay, so the migrating population carried only a small subset of African genetic diversity, particularly strikingly for the non-recombining mtDNA and Y chromosome, where robust, calibrated, high-resolution phylogenies can be constructed. And in each case, all non-African lineages descend from a single African lineage, L3 for mtDNA or CTM168 for the Y chromosome. Yet there has been a long-running debate about the early spread of the Y chromosomal lineages because their current distribution do not fit the simple phylogenetic model. The CT branch diverged within a short time interval into 3 lineages. There's their divergence. And just a few thousand of years later, the lineage DE M145 further split, illustrated in supplementary figure S1. Thus, around the time of the expansion out of Africa between CT M168 and our 4 CN6, whatever you know what I'm saying, read on. Of known extent, non-African lineages were existence plus additional African lineages. The complexity arises because 3 of these 4 earlier lineages are exclusively non-African. A part of those entering Africa through recent gene flow, while the 4th EM6 is largely African, where it constitutes a major lineage of most populations. All right, so this is confirming once again this. It's not saying that. It's
Bro, no, it is
confirming.
not. What are you talking about?
Well, when it's talking about these 70 to 50,000 year old migrations, who is it talking about if not these people?
So let's read, bro. Let's read. Let's read what it actually say. So present day humans outside of Africa descend mainly from a single expansion, right? 50,000 years. You're not reading the thing. So we confirm that hold on, look. We confirm that these 3 chromosomes do represent the deep-rooted DE lineage, right? Branching close to the DE verification. But the D is placed with the branch as an outgroup, right? But who is the E haplogroup, y'all? Put it in the chat. Who is the E haplogroup? E1B1A, right? So, I've been teaching this shit too. So haplogroup E1B1A comes from the DE split, right? Haplogroup E1B1A comes from the DE split. So we gonna start. Let's look at the phylogenetic tree. We got CT M168. Who did CT birth? CT birth haplogroup what? DE. What did haplogroup DE birth? D and E. And E is an African haplogroup. So CT was in America 8,000 years ago. On top of that, haplogroup CT is non-African, which birthed the E haplogroup. So haplogroup E is non-African too. What are we talking about, bro? This is the gap insertion for not all non-Africans. And haplogroup E has it, which is in Africa.
That's
Haplogroup
crazy
E is
because that's
Eurasian in
literally what you're
origin.
doing. You see how I was reading
Haplogroup
and
E
you
is Eurasian
yapping?
in origin. Bro, you don't know DNA, gang.
Nigga, you
What are we
yapping. I was
talking
literally
about?
reading. You making up shit
Bro,
as you go.
how am I? I just showed you.
You didn't show nothing. You pointing to
All
the
right, all right,
screen.
all right,
Like
all right.
you're not
All right,
reading along. I literally read
all right,
along.
move your what's the name and let's do it on the big screen together. Move your
Like,
thing and let's do it on the big screen together.
what you mean? The big screen was right there.
No, I'm saying let's do it on your computer. Since I'm making up shit, let's do it on your computer
I don't
in
understand
front
what
of
you're trying to
everybody.
do. I don't understand
Let's
what you're
do
trying to
it.
do.
Let's do it on your computer.
Do
Pull up the
what?
source that you was just reading, bro. Pull up the source that you was just reading. The DE lineage, right? The DE lineage come from where? Haplogroup CT.
It says an Asian origin of DE.
DE. The Asian
You
origin
say
of DE. DE. The Asian origin. Meaning that haplogroup E came from Asia.
Why you
What are we talking
screaming?
about?
Why you screaming at me?
Because you try to play me like I was lying, bro. I do this shit every day.
No, I
Stop playing
didn't.
with me,
This shit,
nigga.
bro. Listen, you yapping. My source says what it
Exactly.
say.
You debunked yourself. Everybody clip that. Everybody
Yeah,
clip that.
everybody
Haplogroup
clip
E.
it. Everybody
Haplogroup
clip
E is
it.
Asian, and the niggas that birth Africans was in America 8,000 years ago.
I literally read this.
What the
You're
fuck?
not gonna debunk. I'm not. How is
Hey
I'm
man,
debunking
stop
myself
fucking
and
playing
I'm
with me. I'm the
reading
goat at this
PubMed?
shit. I'm the goat at this shit, man.
Now you just self gratifying yourself. Like I read along. You ain't did shit. It's talking about the migration out of Africa, and it's
I
confirmed
just read the
everywhere.
PubMed study. I just read the
No, you
PubMed
didn't.
study.
You
What are you
start
talking about?
yapping. You start yapping, bro.
Let's go back
You
into it,
showing a
y'all.
chart and yapping over a chart. That's what you were doing. I showed it. I showed it the whole time. Didn't say it's an Asian
Look,
or
look,
DE.
y'all. Look, y'all. Look right here. The DE haplogroup, right? The DE haplo has the YAP plus. The YAP plus insertion derived in Asia. So if haplogroup E, right, which is in the DE chromosome, where a single man from Guinea-Bissau and West Africa, right? This is what we're talking about, the DE split, where most African Americans come from and Africans. That's what we're talking about right here, right? We talking about the haplogroup D and E haplogroup of Africa, right? That's what we're talking about, right? They have the YAP insertion. Where does the YAP insertion come from? The YAP insertion right there with the DE split, which they got from CT, which is outside of
Freestyle.
Africa.
You freestyling right now.
How am I freestyling? I just
We
showed
don't
you.
need. Just go to where it say it, bro. We don't need to see the chart, bro. That's what I'm
We
saying.
do
Read
need
the
to see the
words.
chart.
Because if I present, I'm just gonna read these
DE,
whole. So I'm just gonna keep on reading these whole
DE,
sources.
look, y'all, look, DEM145, also known as the YAP plus. Let's go back to the chart. DEM145, YAP plus. We see it, right? You want me to go back to, that's why I got the chart. Let's go back. Let's go
I don't
back,
know
y'all.
what do you think you're doing?
DE YAP plus. Anybody that have a YAP plus is Asian in origin. So if haplogroup E has a YAP plus, that means haplogroup E comes from Asia, not Africa. Then Then if CT,
Not
right,
Africa,
birth haplogroup, if CT birth haplogroup DE, CT was in America 8,000 years ago. What so-called African DNA?
bro. You know what you're doing right there with that map.
I'm telling the truth.
You
I got bro.
confirming.
This
You
is the National
confirming. You
Library.
confirming. You
Let's
confirming
go
my.
back, y'all.
You confirming my
Let's go
migration
back.
map.
Let's go back. This is the National Library of Medicine. No, bro, how am I proving your point when they say
You
haplogroup
confirming
E
migration.
is Asian?
Yeah, this is
Bro,
Asian.
they
Isn't
said
it? This
haplogroup
is
E is
Asian, and
Asian.
that's D. It's D1.
Okay,
This is
so you
Asian.
admitting that haplogroup E is Asian right now?
E?
Haplogroup E is Asian, right?
Where? No.
You
D.
just read that
You
it was
talking about?
Asian in
You just said
origin.
D. You just said D1, bro. I'm saying it's an Asian.
No, I said DE. DE.
D. Okay. Well, you know how they bust down the subclase. So what?
No,
So
no,
what?
no. We talk about the
No,
basal. We talk about there it go right there. There go
I see.
DE
That's
right
why I got
there.
it here. That's why I got it here.
Where's it
So
at?
you're confirming. You're confirming this
Okay,
map.
no, go back,
There's
go back,
no
go
such
back, go back.
thing as
No,
these
where's
niggas
DE next to?
here,
Hold on, where's DE next to, DaDonDadda? Where's it next to? It's next to CF, right? Who birthed CF and DE?
bro. A B C D E. It don't matter. It all go over
Who birthed
here,
it?
bro.
Look,
What
let's
are you
see.
trying to do, bro?
CT birth. Hold
This
on.
is not Africa.
Look, CT birth CF and DE. I know what I'm
Leave
talking
me
about,
alone.
bro.
No, you don't. You
CT
don't, bro.
birth
You're
CF
Indian. You
and
don't.
DE.
You're Indian. You don't know
CT
about.
birth DF, CF and DE.
You know what country
Outside
this
of
is, bro?
Africa.
You know what
It's
country this
outside
is?
of Africa, bro.
Okay, it's not relevant to the debate. You're supposed to be proving
It
Africans in
is.
America.
It is. You want hold on. You want me to prove that sub-Saharan Africans was in America and sub-Saharan
And you
Africans
can't
ain't
do
even
it.
from fucking Africa, nigga?
And you can't even
What
do
are we
it.
talking about?
He said
The
sub-Saharan
ancestors
Africans
of
ain't from
Africa.
sub-Saharan
Hold
Africa,
on. The
y'all.
ancestors of sub-Saharan Africans was in
Okay.
America 8,000 years ago.
Y'all, hey, y'all,
What
just
are we
click on
talking
it.
about?
Hey, we can't look at
What are we
Google in
talking
here,
about?
but y'all look that up in Google. He said sub-Saharan
Bro,
Africans ain't from sub-Saharan Africa, y'all.
they're not. Look, y'all, watch
Y'all
this.
just do that one, y'all.
Haplogroup. Hold on, y'all. Look. Haplogroup
You know, and I've
DE
been done.
split.
He trying to, I've been
Hold
done.
on,
He
no,
trying to
no.
hold on to this debate and try to get the
Haplogroup
point.
DE split, y'all. Look. Haplogroup DE split. One went D and the other one E. E is the African haplogroup. Let's see where it started. Hold on. Haplogroup DE, the rare haplogroup, right? Where is it at? It is a Asian origin. Asian, not Africa.
Um,
It's outside
I'm
of
pretty sure.
Africa.
I'm pretty sure everybody,
Outside. Hold
nobody's
on, hold
listening
on.
to you.
So if CT is out of Africa and CT birthed E haplogroup, that means E haplogroup migrated into Africa because it is Asian in origin.
I don't know why we all the
This
way in
comes
the
from the
Asian, bro.
national.
Look again,
This
y'all.
comes from the
Black
National Library of Medicine,
people.
bro. This comes from the
Let me see
National
it. Let me
Library of
Google
Medicine.
it. That's
Exactly.
his profile
So
picture,
no
y'all.
matter which way you put it, I proved that Africans was in America, and I proved that it was black people in America. Like, stop playing with me, bro.
Yeah. Okay. You didn't do it. You didn't. You didn't do it, but that ain't enough for me to decide. I mean, I already know better. I'm glad. Hey, anybody wanna, you know what I'm saying, come to a
All right,
label?
let's do it. We gonna do a vote, y'all. We gonna do a vote. Let's see who won, man.
Nigga, the facts is the
And
facts.
we
at
gonna
the
do
end of the day.
and we gonna do a match, bro. Do the match, and we gonna do the vote,
I
bro.
don't even know how to do all this shit. Internet ass
Just
nigga.
accept it, bro.
Oh man, y'all. He trying to get some coin.
I'm trying to get some coins.
Yeah, that's what this is. Y'all know I'm not supposed to be doing
Nigga,
that, bro.
what? Nigga, bro, come on now, bro.
Yeah,
You
y'all
just
know I'm
got
not.
cooked, man. I ain't gonna lie. You should run, bro.
Yeah, try the delusion. Delusion might help you. The delusion might help you, y'all. I don't know. If y'all fall for that, yeah, that's on y'all, man.
Bro,
That's on
I
y'all.
put up
We
I
did
put
what we
up
was supposed to
primary
do.
sources.
We
I
did what
put
we
up
was supposed to
primary
do.
sources.
You say
If
you want
y'all
to go
want
to
the
primary
source that
sources? I did that.
if
I
if
did that. I
if
went to
if
primary
y'all if
sources.
look, it's a rare deep root in Africa, the Y chromosome Africa.
Bruh.
And if you scroll all the way down
Just
to the
go to the
bottom,
title.
it's
Just
going to
go
tell
to the
you
title of
it's
one of them
going to
shits
tell
where it
you
says
it's
black
going to
people in
tell you
America
that the
before
CT branch
colonialism.
it's going to tell you that the CT branch has Asian origins and it gave birth to all non-African haplogroups, which would be haplogroup E.
Why you just can't put in there a study that says black people are in America before colonialism? And if
I just showed you. Didn't I just show you a
you hear
study
what
of
you ain't
haplogroup
listening to what I'm
CT
saying? Why you
M1
just can't pull up a
M168 in
study?
America? Didn't
Why
I
you
just
can't
show you
pull up a
that?
study? Why you
Didn't
can't
I
pull
just
up
show
a
you
study?
that?
No, you
Hey, I
don't. No.
appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all, man.
Why
Appreciate
you
it,
don't
man. Appreciate
understand?
it.
Why you don't understand? Why you don't understand that?
Man, I ain't gonna lie, bro. You
Why you can't have
embarrassing,
a
bro.
title? Why you ain't got a title to say black people are indigenous to America? Why is no topic of PubMed like to say that? Why you got to conflate everything to try to make your point?
Because
Why you
no
have to
study is
go?
going
Why
to
you
say
have to
that.
go to?
No, you
Why
have
you
to
have to
read,
go?
bro.
Why
You
you
have
have to
to read
go?
studies. You have to read. You can't
No,
just
this is what you
keyword search
did. You
Africa.
disingenuous. You bounced to multiple
All right,
studies.
look, y'all, look. Now I'm disingenuous. Look, y'all, look. Additionally, a very rare haplogroup DE carrying the variants that define the DE, but none of those are individually added. Complexity. The first identified
No,
5 out of 1,200 Nigerians. They're testing Nigerians for the DE haplogroup, bro.
y'all.
That's
Look
outside of
what we gonna
Africa.
do. As soon as I'm finna post
It's
it.
outside of Africa, bro.
Hey y'all, shout out to y'all W Gifters. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna post this live right now on YouTube, and then we gonna go over it. Soon as we land this, then I'm gonna crank right back up so I can post it. Oh no, actually, yeah. I'm gonna probably have. I don't know. I don't know. We gonna make sure it get up there though. Yeah. I didn't see it, brother. I didn't see. So yeah, like we gonna be able to go over everything in depth, y'all. I went off the script just because I could. Um, Yeah, because at the end of the day, I just wanted to have that debate. You know, we're not going to see no black people in America prior to colonialism. We're going to see heavily conflation, misinterpretation, and yeah, that's what I want y'all. I want us to be able to have this as a moment of history where we can always go back to. And that's what I want to do. I
Yeah, I
thank
ain't
you
gonna
for
go.
accepting this debate.
I'm glad I was able to teach everybody something today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you
We
definitely
know
taught
what's
us
going
something.
on, bro.
You didn't teach me nothing I didn't know, but you definitely taught us something. Everybody
Oh, but
collectively, they can kind of see.
you admitted that DE was Asian in origin, though.
I mean, yeah, but the purpose of the debate, once again, is that black people are not indigenous to America. I'm like, I don't know what we're talking about. If
So
I
when y'all
said,
scream E1B1, hold on, but when y'all scream E1B1A is an African haplogroup, you're wrong, bro. It's Asian. They migrated to West Africa for sure, but that's not
yeah,
their origin.
oh, are you trying to
They're
do
not.
it alphabetical? Are you
It's
trying to
not
put it
indigenous.
in alphabetical
It's
order?
not indigenous.
Okay, well,
No,
I don't know.
bro.
You just
I'm
gotta argue. You just
no.
gotta argue with the map, brother. You just gotta argue with the map.
I just showed. I just put up the map, bro.
No,
All right.
yeah,
So
this is what the map says.
all right.
Look at it and say, look
Where do
up,
we?
YDNA. They go YDNA. That's our boy right there, Albert.
Albert Perry and the Embo, right? So where do E haplogroup come from? A or where do it come from? Follow the line back.
How the hell go? How the
Go
hell?
to the
Y'all heard
map.
what he just asked me? Did
Go
he
back
ask me
to the
did E
map,
come
bro.
from?
Go back to the
Let's
map and follow the
let me
line back, bro.
let me talk
Go
about
back
it.
to the map and follow the
No,
line
you
back.
just said does E come
Go
from
back to
A?
the map and follow the
No,
line back, bro.
no. How the hell this guy
Go
just
back to the
gonna ask
map.
me does somebody come from what? Come on, bruh. If it's Y
Go back to the map, bro.
chromosomal Adam, of course.
Hey, y'all see this shit, man? This shit crazy, bro.
They just heard you ask a crazy question. Everybody knows AOO is Albert Perry. This is the
Go back
new
to the
Y
map, bro.
chromosomal Adam. You talking about does E come from him?
Go back to the map, bro.
The map is where world map of Y, and this is Y DNA, right? We on Y DNA? Y DNA,
Let me
y'all.
pull it. Let me pull it up, bro. Cause you being
Oh, y'all,
disingenuous right
y'all, I'm
now.
gonna lose, y'all. Shit.
All right, so
Hold
look,
on.
y'all. Let me show y'all. So when we look at the haplogroup E, where do we see it coming from? We see haplogroup coming from the E coming from the east side of Africa, migrating to West Africa. We don't see it originating there. It migrated. But where did it migrate to, y'all? Let's follow these brown lines.
So you
Where they
know.
go? Where they pointing back to? They're pointing back to Eurasia. They're pointing back to Eurasia, bro.
Mm-mm.
Yes, they
Yeah, we
are.
already talked about it. I already talked about it
Like,
too.
come
So
on
we
now,
don't go over
bro.
that. We don't go over that. I say where it originated. It originated 40,000 years and it migrated to West Africa. Then went through the
Where,
Bantu
no, but where did
expansion.
it originate, brother? Where
I
did it
just said East
originate at?
Africa. East
No, it
Africa.
originated in Asia. Then they went to East Africa. Then they
All
went
right,
to
well,
West
y'all go look.
Africa.
This EM2 originate in Asia now. Y'all can just look. Y'all
No,
can
that's
just
not.
cross
That's a
reference this stuff for
derived.
yourself.
That's a derived version. We talk about the
Y'all can
basal
just look that up for
haplogroups, the ones
yourself.
that birth the subclades, not
You're saying
not the subclades,
E1,
bro. Hey, appreciate y'all,
B1A.
man. Appreciate y'all with the gifts. Appreciate y'all with the fucking dub, man. Let's fucking get it, bro.
I can't believe the people still going for that shit. Hey, definitely, I appreciate y'all. Listen, if y'all still going for that shit, lock in with your boy paperwork. Y'all make sure y'all don't. Hey, and I implore y'all. Look, y'all see
Yeah,
my
I ain't gonna
paperwork.
lie,
All right,
y'all lock in
hold
with
on. Let me
me.
say, let me say
Y'all
this.
lock in
Hey,
with
hold on,
me.
let
I
me
gotta
say this.
win every
You just
time,
jumped in
bro.
while I was talking. I implore the rest of y'all to get in these debates with everybody else. You know, everybody else want to debate too. Everybody want to get something, so y'all can we can start a thing, or y'all can go back into y'all respective echo chambers where y'all scared to hear the counter argument and scared to get cooked. That's what y'all could do. Yeah, I don't think we've seen the black people was indigenous to America. I don't think we've seen that at all. I mean, I think that would be a main study. But yeah, y'all could look at it again. Is E1B1A originate in Asia? What I want y'all to do, y'all gonna be able to see this on the DaDonDadda YouTube. I want y'all to be able to cross-reference all of this shit. Cross-reference all of this shit. Everything. I'm looking at this shit right now on the DNA guide. It's of African origin specifically. And this is exactly what I said. It emerged in East Africa and expanded to West and Central Africa. The most common Y chromosome haplogroup is sub-Saharan Africa. It's not associated with Asia. Like, I don't know. Well, I don't know what that was about. But yeah, at the end of the day, y'all not a pretending like him. He actually has a maternal, I don't know if that's true or not, but he's claiming to have a maternal DNA. He's attaching himself to the migration, to the haplogroup,
Hold on.
map. He's subscribing to
Can
genetics.
you repeat that?
If you're
Can you
claiming you
repeat
have a
that again?
D1, if you're claiming you have a
No.
D1
Before that,
maternal
because you when you just said like I don't know where that come from. Can you repeat what you said?
with E1B1A,
Yeah, can you repeat that again?
yeah, I just said it's of African origins. It emerged originally in East Africa and then migrated west. Never
All
migrated
right,
east to Asia.
cool.
Yeah, everybody, listen. Somebody be intellectually honest and look that up. I'm not just
I
preaching.
never said that. I never said a specific subclade originated nowhere. I said the ancestor of all E haplogroups where it came from. That's what I said.
At the
And
end
you
of the
go look it
day,
up.
the cradle of human civilization and humanity is in Africa.
That's another story.
No, that's
That's
not
another
another
story.
story. It's not another story. That's
All
what you
right,
was
bro.
confirming.
We
If you
appreciate you, man.
anytime, yeah, I appreciate you.
We
Anytime you
see
mention
how far
haplogroups,
the
yeah, I've been done with you. You the one try to hang on around and get some points.
You said what?
I
Bro,
said
I know
you
what
the
I'm
one trying to
talking
hang
about,
around,
bro.
have 3 extra rounds, trying to get some more points. You ain't getting none point extra, buddy.
I mean, I proved what I had to prove, bro.
Okay.
Appreciate you,
Okay.
man.
And this is what I want. Okay, appreciate you. And I want everybody thinks that he proved something. I want them to summarize how he proved it. Summarize how he proved it, because like I said, I think we pretty much stamped. Y'all can pull up. I think I pretty much stamped it. Archaeologically, anthropologically, genetically. Y'all don't get go off on me because I went all the way off for script. I mean, yeah, automatically. He lost soon as he was trying to conflate what black was. Right? You don't know what black is, and you out of there. But that's why I say that's the main part of a debate. Is to the first part is to define your terms. What's good, brother KP? What's good, OHL? Pull up.
Hold on, real quick. Let me show something real quick, though. Just because this nigga's a liar, yo. What up? This for all his people in the fucking in the chat, man.
There you go. That's the map, man. I was hoping you got it up here while he was up here. That's his
Yeah, y'all
map.
know I be zoned out.
Y'all see his color coded, right? You see his color coded, right?
Hold on.
You see where CT starts, right? Y'all see the color? So that orange
Pink.
the orange is Africa. That's his. The orange, the light orange is Africa. The pink is Asia. So it literally is shown on his map. If you looked at his map, it's literally shown on his map that CT starts in the orange. And then everything, the E does not ever go into the pink. So the E is always Africa. That's his map.
What's this, KP? This the man buried?
Yeah, can I get the big screen right quick?
You want it on my side.
I am, or it's just it must be my screen. All right. So this the joint he was showing, right? A man buried in Chile in the ancient South America era. We're gonna make sure y'all can see that it's the same one, right? Same date that he showed y'all, right? You can show the same haplogroup that he showed y'all, and we're gonna show y'all the place, right? This how disingenuous this nigga is.
I put up the wrong one. I put up the South American. You said this was I got this one.
It's Chinchorroy 15. So if you type in DNAgenics on Google and then Chinchorroy 15, it'll come right up in the first round.
Yeah, I'm on the same one.
But
Even this dude did the same thing. Why you talking about? I was in the wrong source. The source I pulled up still said Native Americans in America prior to colonialism.
this says the analysis compares the DNA profile with present-day reference populations, showing what percentage of genetic makeup resembles modern populations from different regions. So now, this part that he showed is only showing us what percentage of their genetic makeup resembles modern populations. Not that that these modern populations are related to them, but it resembles them. DNAgenics uses a genetic calculator. It's not even like they did actual genetic studies. They use this little calculator thing. But he showed that it said Africa, right? But I want to try to see exactly which part of Africa it comes from, because it's going to be kind of clear why they genetically, it's kind of similar to these Africans. Right, so a group of people who share genetic affinity with Eurasians, just like Native Americans, which are the Egyptians, are the group of Africans that a percentage of their DNA is similar to. Not that they're related to Egyptians.
He didn't show that.
It's similar to Egyptians. He's very disingenuous, and I wanted to come up here so bad while he was up here and show this, because he's a liar. And he sat there, these aren't even black people. So even if he did say they was related, still not black people.
He didn't show that right.
No, he just showed this part. He just showed African, and then he showed this. That's all.
That's what made me say. I'm like, bro, you talking about Africa? I know it's gonna have to be something specific. I said, you ain't talking about again the topic.
He was very disingenuous and like up there, peace, brother. You definitely did though, cook in the debate though, like the the gifts and all of that weird shit. That was a whole completely different point of the debate. But like what OHF even showed in the picture, which was his own source, like it showed you, because we know that all diversity, that's the whole point that he fails to realize. You find all diversity in Africa. So you find the beginning where you see that seed, but where you see the isolation at, when you start seeing the divergence, when diversify and start spreading throughout, we see that D, it's in Asia, that E is isolated to Africa. When you go back to those ancestral ancient, like that DE, that predates all of that. That predates that. And that's what he kept on trying to make it seem like the DE had anything to do with the fucking E, because it does not, you know, in the sense of being Asia. So he's trying to say that all life African origin is Asia, all these different things. And his whole source was speaking to the out of Africa theory. That's why I said you can't show another migration using the out of Africa model by misinterpreting the data that is shown in the out of Africa model. You have to show something that supports an out of Asia model if that's what his understanding was, which he did not. Absolutely. Reading is fundamental. Comprehension is fundamental. And he did not have that. You can't, like, his sources all spoke to out of Africa. Even when he stopped reading on purpose, he hurried up and slid his camera to the side, because right there, when it start talking about the divergence of D, when D starts to isolate, it says 50,000 to 100,000 years ago. It was literally speaking to that migration. It was literally speaking to that isolation from Africa becoming the new people. So it was just ignorant altogether.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I was like, because when he said that's a whole nother story. I said, this is not a whole nother story of African being a cradle of humanity. But when you're using like DNA, when you're using haplogroups, when you're using like biology, that's why I asked him. I said, man, what's the DNA? If we name it haplogroups, name the haplogroup. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the CT, he put up a Egyptian DNA. And you see he still tried to do it. He still tried to connect it to Africa, because you gotta go to Africa, except you need to go to sub-Saharan Africa.
You mind putting
Yeah, I
some
think
screens out? Did everybody catch this? Like, this is kind of bad to me. Like, this is obvious. Like, his whole argument is that CT started in Asia, right? Well, didn't he say that?
yeah, and then he kind of went, and then he said E goes back, like some type of back migration, but it's the first migration into Africa.
E starts in Africa, and then E never comes out of Africa. His map says it. E never comes out of Africa. Like, his map is visually letting you know the phylogenetic tree and the migrations. So according to his tree, it doesn't zigzag. They didn't put a loop. They literally are showing you the orange. Everything in that light orange is literally Africa. The pink is Asia. CF is Asia. D1 is Asia. E is African. He was arguing E is not African, but he has he literally showed you something that shows E is African. That's why these things are color coded for a reason. I just showed this on his live, and they all, they was figuring out the lie. But like, y'all gotta read what y'all show.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's why I be talking about the Moors, because it's that Asiatic connection. They want to be that. That's why a lot of it stems in that. And also the creation, the cradle of civilization, all that stuff, the chosen people. That's what they want to be from over there. Man. And this is what they do. They conflate. Oh, my bad. Go ahead, cousin.
No. You're good. I just gonna put the ask KP. Hey, show me where the genetics is, because I'm on the site and the genetics isn't showing for me, man.
Are you on your phone?
Yeah, I'm on that. Yeah, I'm on DNA Genetics. I found the sample on there, but the DNA isn't showing for me.
Yeah, if you're looking at it on your phone, it won't show up. You have to be looking at it from a computer for the genetics portion to pop up on the screen. That's like chapter 5.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at it from my iPad Pro.
Yeah, no, I gotta be from. I was doing the same thing. I looked at it from my tablet, my other phone. I'm like, yo, why is shit not coming up? Then I tried my computer, and it came right up.
Oh, okay.
I ain't
I
gonna
thought
lie,
I
I
was
can't even
going
get it.
crazy, man.
I can't even get it. It say Chachuro every
Cause
time
I
I put
thought
in
he.
Chachuro. Go
Hold
ahead.
on, let me see. Let me see. Cause when I thought he made it up. Like I thought he made the website. Low key. Hold on, I'm about to show you right quick. Let me type in. So you just type in DNA Genix, right? And then type in. Oh, sorry, here you see it. And then once you click it, if for me it was the first one, it'll come right up like that.
Yeah, I knew that's what he was using, but that segment isn't coming up.
Yeah, but yeah, it's only on the computer. Once you
That's the
scroll
same one I
down,
had. Oh, that's the same one I had
yep,
up.
and once you scroll down on your computer, it's right under this part. Once you get past that, it'll be like chapter 5, genetics, right there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's what I
Okay.
didn't do.
Yeah. It just says chapter 4 context.
Yeah, it don't show up on it. You got if you got a computer, try to pull it up on your computer.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I think I
That's
got
no
it.
fun.
But yeah, even then with him directing this to this site with what I accidentally pulled up, that was another dagger. I wasn't even really pulling up none of the genetic remains, but yeah, the man buried in Chile, and this shit 6,000 years old.
Yeah,
6,000 years old.
and
Hey yo,
I
didn't
hate
Island
when
try this
people.
like 6 months ago? Didn't Island try doing this
Yeah, I think he
with the
did.
E1 and try switching it out from Asia, trying to make it seem like it originated from Asia? Like I asked you Asia in the comments. I don't know if you saw it. I don't know if you remember that, but I think Island had tried to do the same exact thing he was trying to do.
And
Oh,
I hate when
I'll
people.
try to say haplogroup. What was it? Haplogroup. What is it? One of those haplogroups. Haplogroup. Something. One of the like he confused the maternal with the paternal. I mean, uh, I think it's a haplogroup L. No, haplogroup L. So haplogroup L was an Indian. It's like South Asian haplogroup. So he said haplogroup L started in Asia. That's what he did on live, and he literally just went. I'm like, do you understand? Where nobody's discussing the insignificant haplogroup L with a couple Indians. We're talking about the massive macro haplogroup L, which gives progenation to the planet. And then he just tried to just play on words the whole time. So
And I hate when people try to use the out of Africa theory or out of Africa model at this point, right? To try to prove that their black ancestors weren't dragged off the shores of Africa. And even in his own example, right? Oh, DE starts on the starts in near Africa, and one lineage went this way, and E went what do you say? And E is African, but that proves that E is not African. I'm like, what? So here's the thing. Here's the thing. If E, let's say that he was correct, and E, DE starts out of Africa, and E, and D somehow go out of Africa, blah blah blah, right? Well, E is still African. E is still going to be in Africa at the time that your ancestors get dragged from the shores of Africa. 400, 500 years ago, 200 years ago, 160 years ago. What are we really doing?
and even if there was a reentry, right? Which his source doesn't say it's a reentry.
Right.
Most sources don't say it's a reentry. But even if it was a reentry, the beginning of the phylogenetic tree, both paternal and maternal, show their place of origin.
Yes.
There's no debate about these common paternal and maternal ancestors.
Yes.
So no matter how y'all want to loop it, they say L3 is started in Asia. Okay, I would even. I'm the one person who would concede just on that. Now, there's not a lot of debate about it. It's almost consensus, but there are some people who do claim that L3 possibly started in Asia, right? There are some people who say that haplogroup E may have re-entered from the near Asia or Arabia, right? There's some people who argue that's the minority, right? But even if that was the case, there was a re-entry, it would still be the keyword re-entry.
Right.
It still means the starting point
It was Africa.
would be Africa. Like I don't understand how that is like the L3 debate. I don't get it because it's like, all right, cool. Even if we can see that out of Asia, migration started out of Asia, cool. Explain the prior phylogenetic tree. That's a branch from an older tree, from older branches. I don't know. Nobody is able to explain that to me. Like I hear the back and forth for L3, and I hear the back and forth sometimes for haplogroup E. But it's like, what about their paternal lineages and maternal lineages?
And it makes no sense. What are we really doing here? The arguments make no sense.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not debating my I'm M32. He's not debating my haplogroup, whether that comes from Asia. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not debating the common haplogroup for that A0T A0T.
Yeah.
Yeah, that gives birth to all modern men. Like nobody's debating that haplogroup coming from Africa. Like it's not like a debate about that. Like so why? I don't know. It's just that part I don't get.
Well, even in talking about a maternal haplogroup M32 or M20 or M7, right? In Black America, the reason the 99% of the time, Black Americans who carry those particular haplogroups, mtDNA haplogroups, M, is because they have an ancestor that was dragged from Madagascar, right? Who themselves was mixed, right? Austronesian, Polynesian, I say Polynesian, Austronesian, right? East African Bantu, Malagasy, right? And they were dragged from Madagascar and enslaved in Virginia or in another place where they in New York, whatnot, where they brought Malagasy slaves, right? And they were probably Mariner, right? And so it's just, what are we doing here, right? Even having an M haplogroup doesn't prove that your black ass, right, was indigenous to America. Doesn't prove it at all. Sorry, I get frustrated by these people, right? Then
No,
on
it's
top
very,
of
very
that, hold
clear.
on. Then on top of that, let me get this one last frustration out. They always point to that white population, right? That signal in South America of Andaman and Melanesian and DNA or signal, right? So let's say that that's true. Let's say that there were people who related to the Melanesians and everything. They made their way over here, and they had a small population that was over here. It still doesn't apply to Black Americans or any other Black peoples on this in this Western Hemisphere. There have been 150 plus genetic studies on the Black American population since the 1950s. They all confirm and reconfirm, right? The same thing. And that is, we came from Africa. Our ancestors came from Africa. There is no getting around it, right? At least one or two of those studies, if we didn't come from Africa, would have pointed to it. That's the purpose of peer review, is to check another person's data to make sure that they're correct, or they have no loopholes, or they have that their information can't be refuted or can be refuted, right? In some cases, many cases, right?
It's an imagination argument, though. It's like, let me imagine myself being Melanesians, right? So they're dark, I'm dark, and therefore, like, but ignoring all the data behind it, like 96% of the Native Americans' DNA who was sampled, 97%, 98% is pure Native American,
Right,
and it's only about 2% of their genome. 2%.
right.
Over top of that, it's found in a 10,400-year-old Native American man in Brazil who has 96% of his DNA Native American and about 4% of his DNA less than 4% of his DNA is what we would call population wide, but
Right.
it's found 10,400 years ago.
Right.
So it's like, and that person still has the same genetic composition. It's not found in us. It's not really found in the Caribbean. It's exclusive to Native Americans and other groups of people who have Asian ancestry.
And it's
Because it's an
only
Asian
a
ghost
small
population, right?
percentage.
It's an out of Asia migration.
Yes.
It's nothing to do with Black Americans. All our DNA is recently from West Africa, which is very, very genetically distinct. And then we're an amalgamation of different West Africans, which is very easy to sample. It's recent DNA, so we got cousins. It's like, and we do all this. They crawling over glass. They kicking, they crawling over glass, letting concrete fall on their head. They doing all this stuff, trying to fly, trying to leap over buildings. Just when the information's right there, who you are. The same genetic studies are letting you know exactly who you are with precision.
It's
And it's
wild.
like they just that's how crazy this shit is, man. Like,
It's wild. It is mind blowing. And then you have people that would believe them over over people like us that can actually read and interpret, right? Understand and relay the information from these studies, right, to the general public. I mean, OHF, you're brilliant at doing it, right? KP the guy, you're brilliant at doing it. Don, you're brilliant at doing it, right? Emma is brilliant at doing it. Bunch of other people, right? Are brilliant. Brilliant. Tika is brilliant at doing it, right? Brilliant at relaying this kind of stuff to the general public.
but shout out to DaDonDadda. You did your thing tonight, bro.
Yeah,
You did your.
man.
This is a historic one. This is a big deal. Because I thought he was going to. He's kind of tricky, so I figured, you know what I mean. I said he might try to do some sneaky stuff. At the end, he tried some sneaky stuff, but it was too late. You know what I mean? It's just like you did a lot of damage tonight.
He
A
moved.
lot of damage.
He moved
They
quick
over
as
there
hell.
relating.
Between that information.
Yo,
Yeah, they
Well, that
hurt. They
last
hurt
one,
tonight. They hurt.
that last one, or yeah, that C1 one, I still have yet to find it. But I don't know why he would give us that source. This DNA genetics.
Genetics thing, yeah.
Oh
But
my gosh,
this
this is a
another
beautiful
thing
source.
from this DNA genetics thing too. That I wanted to show this because this thing is hilarious. It says, why don't the countries listed in the region section align with my known ancestry? Our test identifies genetic affinity or similarity with populations within specific regions. This means your genetics may resemble those of individuals from a neighboring region or one with shared ancestry patterns, even if it doesn't match the exact country associated with your heritage. Please note that the country estimates in the report are not intended to pinpoint your ancestral origins precisely. Instead, they reflect populations with genetic traits similar to yours. Therefore, the results should be used as a general guide rather than definitive evidence of your ancestry's geographic origins. So not only did that bullshit say Egyptian, right? It also means those motherfuckers ain't related.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. Everything that's referencing America. It says these like this shit work. Like let me see how this one. I'm like all of these is
Once you
like
start clicking the ones that's all the rest of the joints that's connected to that particular one at the bottom.
yeah, it's over into that.
Yeah.
So I got a debate this month. What's his name? Chief Pygmy done challenged Carolina to a debate. I want to see if that happened. This should be hilarious.
Yeah, that's why I didn't really say too much. 'Cause I know a lot of times they don't happen. But yeah, that was crazy.
Yo, he was certain when he was over here. He was over there sweating. He was sweating like, yeah, he was sweating like yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he sounded too good. I mean, that's why, like, the main reason why I be wanting to like push the debates is because, like, because of the first part. The first part is when you have to define terms, and once that's why as soon as I defined the term, you were like, "Oh, I didn't say nothing about that." Yeah, you did.
I'm gonna just say this, that y'all, when he showed the PCA studies, I want the audience to realize that he's absolutely wrong, right? On PCA genetic studies, African Americans absolutely cluster with West and Central Africans, but the reason why we're a little elevated is because we also cluster with some Europeans because of our admixture, right? But we absolutely cluster in West and Central African populations, like the Yoruba, the Mende, etc. Right? It's just he doesn't know how to read that stuff, and so when he's relaying it to you, I'm talking about the what was his name? The paper dude. When he was relaying it to you, he just didn't know how to read it. Right? It just
Speaking of those studies, though, am I tripping, or is it this one of the studies he had showed?
Let me see. Let me see. I think I probably still got it up.
That's one.
show yeah.
That's it. That's it.
That's the one? Okay, I had to make sure I wasn't
Yep.
tripping, right?
Yep. It's one of the early ones he showed. Yeah. Let me see the read the title again. Let me see the title.
It's a genetic evidence for the Pliocene and recent population history of Native Americans.
Oh yeah. That's it.
Okay, that's it. Okay, so let's. I want to do something right quick, right? Because I don't know why he ain't go here. The Native Americans diverged from their East Asian ancestors during the last glacial maximus, and no earlier than 23,000 years ago, provides an upper bound in perhaps the climatic and environmental context for the initial isolation of their ancestral population, and a maximum estimate for their entrance and subsequent spread into the Americas. This result is consistent with the model that people entered the Americas prior to the development of the Clovis complex and have reached as far as southern South America by 14.6 thousand years ago. My bad, Joe. As archaeological evidence provides only a minimum age for human presence in the Americas, we can anticipate the possible discovery of sites that approach the time of the divergence of East Asians and Native Americans. However, our estimate for the initial divergence and entry of Native American ancestors does not support archaeological claims for an initial peopling significantly earlier than the last glacial maximus. While our data cannot provide the precise geographical context for the initial people and process, it has allowed us to more accurately estimate its temporal dynamics. This, in turn, has enabled us to reassess the Beringian incubation model, which, based on mtDNA data and the timing and geographical distribution of archaeological sites, hypothesized a 15,000-year-long period of isolation of ancestral Native Americans in Beringia during the last glacial maximus. Our results, along with the recent findings of mtDNA haplogroup C1, where's that, in Iceland and ancient Northwest Russia, do not fit with the proposed 15,000-year span of the Beringian incubation model. It is possible that a shorter period of isolation occurred, 8,000 years, but whether it occurred in Siberia or Beringia will have to be determined by future ancient DNA and archaeological findings. Given the genetic continuity between Native Americans and some East Asian populations, other demographic factors such as surfing during population expansions into unoccupied regions may ultimately need to be taken into account to better understand the presence of a large number of high-frequency private variants in the indigenous populations of the Americas. The data presented here are consistent with the single initial migration of all Native Americans and with later gene flow from sources related to East Asians and more distantly Australo-Melanesians. From that single migration, there was a diversification of ancestral Native Americans leading to the formation of northern and southern branches, which appears to have taken place 13,000 years ago within the Americas. This split is consistent with the patterns of uniparental genomic regions of mtDNA haplogroup X and some Y chromosome C haplotypes being present in northern but not southern populations in the Americas. This diversification event coincides roughly with the opening of habitable routes along the coastal and interior corridors until unglaciated North America some 16,000 years ago and 14,000 years ago, respectively, suggesting a possible role of one or both of those routes in the isolation and subsequent dispersal of Native Americans across the continent. Like DaDonDadda had said when he pulled that shit up, that shit don't say nothing about Africa, bro. That shit don't say nothing about Africa or black people.
Yeah, he tried it with that one because I ain't gonna lie, y'all. It was hard to really stay like tuned in to what he was saying because I just knew I was gonna say, bro, ain't nothing you saying relevant. But I still wanted to make sure I didn't like just let it overwhelm maybe somebody who was listening. Like, well, he didn't even respond to that. But and that was the case for him. He didn't respond to anything I was talking about. And that's part of you got to cross examine. That's part of the peer review. But yeah, as soon as I looked that up, I said, hold on. I said, yeah, you wait till y'all rewind this shit. But I'm glad this is part of it too, because I'm gonna post this with it as well. But yeah, come on, man. Come on, man. Yeah, I think his best reach was the CM Haplo group. Um, I think that was the best thing he did, and then how he went down there and cherry picked it, and then how I missed it. Really, it was because I missed it. But even in that miss, it still substantiates the same thing. But yeah, like this one shows a good one. This one shows like 4%. But yeah, like you said, it's not referencing uh like this is not DNA test, y'all. It's not gonna give you that geographical connection like KP was talking about. But that should say 6,000 to 1,500. That's very broad. But even if C1B, I think his main thing, and I realized that they do this a while ago, is they think that like the haplo groups have to be in alphabetical order, and I think that's why he was doing that DE shit. I think that's what that was about. Same thing for the ABC and the mtDNA in Americas, the ABCDX. They think that's like the first, and they want to. I don't know how they do it, but ultimately, yeah, the world map of YDNA, they got an mtDNA map. It's just as clear. I actually lost access to this, but yeah, I'm glad we got it back. But now, no, I think that was good. Y'all. I mean, it was something else. Oh, it was something else I wanted to talk about before I restart. Hold on, y'all. The David Wright stuff. Y'all familiar with that one?
Yes.
What was that one on? He put up something about it. I don't think I got that one still up. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pull it up. Yeah, he tried to. Oh, I think that's when he was trying to talk about morphology a lot. Yeah, Harvard geneticist. He transformed understanding of aging prehistory through ancient DNA analysis, revealing complex and multi-wave migration. His research highlighted that modern Indians are a mix of ancestral North and South Indian populations identified as Denisovan ancestry in South. Oh, yeah, this is what I was supposed to be talking about. Denisovan and Southeast Asians, and it showed East Asian populations share a deep ancient lineage. Yeah, so that's why I said I really just wanted to get a whole bunch of information so I can get a whole bunch of nice clips, so I can go ahead and chop it up thoroughly. But I'm probably gonna land it right here.
Even David Reich's research supports the out of Africa theory.
Yeah. That's what I just read over pretty much. You know what I'm saying? He's just talking about multiple ways. When he's talking about these admixtures of Denisovans, we know the Denisovans, they get that admixture from the East Asian migration. So yeah, it's just really what he's saying is he's breaking down like more of the nuances, right? When he says India, like that's part of the migration route. But yeah, I don't know. I wish he would really just. And this is the thing with him. How you pretending with a Native American or claiming to have a Native American haplogroup? You need to figure that out. Because I'm pretty sure where you get the debate, it's gonna be on the DaDonDadda YouTube. I'm finna do it right now actually, because this would make the Brown a 3 hour mark. So I'm gonna go ahead and land it right there, and then I'm probably either gonna crank. Actually, I'm not gonna crank up. I'll probably follow through somebody else shit if anybody else go live.
All right, I'll let you, man. Thanks for having this debate, man.
Oh yeah. Once again, promote debates. This is the best, healthiest way to go through the contention. I would love to, I love to see debate anybody with KP. I would love to see KP run somebody down. KP, I would like to see Rob Style. I would like to
I
see
mean,
Quick No
listen,
More Pseudo. Hold
Anybody
Just
want to
there's
debate,
people.
they can get themselves, whatever, yeah.
Yeah, they don't know about KPK. That's a silent assassin. They don't even know. He the most dangerous person on the side. They ain't now even peeping it. Cause he quiet. He just pull up a source or you know what I mean. He just sit there and pull your own stuff up, read your
Yeah, that's what I
stuff,
said.
and then just chop your head off with your own sword.
He soars heavy, yeah, because I really didn't know. I'm not gonna even hold y'all. I had just got in. So that's kind of why I was like not well prepared. You know how the days go, but even regardless of that, I did want to do like source on source on source on source on source, but I didn't get my shit set up. I think I really only had, and I didn't even really pull a lot of them up. I only had, let me see. Yeah, it just was really hard to structure. I think I only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I only had 8. I only had 8 sources to pull up, and I don't even think I pulled them up for the most part. It was oh yeah, I did do the UN. I did do Thomas Brown. I didn't click on this one. Oh yeah, I did. I did do John Rolfe. The first time Negroes was mentioned. I did do Columbus not black. I just referenced that. I didn't show the source though. I didn't get into this one right here. Juan Garrido black, but we already know he mentioned that because this is supposed to be like one of the first free man in America. He represented Yaja. But yeah, and he's of African descent. The only reason why I didn't go to Estevanico, I thought I was going to be able to go to Estevanico, but he said that and even this right here, this is referencing appearance, right? And I made that distinction in debate. Is yeah, they not called. They don't come up with these terminologies to a certain date, to a certain century. Anything outside of that is presentism. That's why I love that they show the E1B1A is predominantly in West Africa, and you see the Black Americans predominantly in Southeast America. It just confirms the history. But I hope I didn't seem like I took it too serious. I really was trying to I guess balance out. Because my thing is I like to sound patronizing to these people. I think he sounded like a student that just really had trouble comprehension and was just a little stubborn about it. That's kind of how looking on the outside in. But we definitely gonna get this up. Is the YouTube the Don Dada? It may be the Don Dada 69. Put the Don
Real
Dada
quick before you
69.
end this joint, everybody watching, this how I source up so quick, right? This one of the websites I use called WeLive.org. They got a
Oh, that's
whole
doing
lot
me.
of books, and they got a lot of academic papers on here as well for free. So
I
I
learned
use this
all
joint
the time, man. The
real
information
often.
is the most easiest thing ever to go over, bro. I've never had one problem with any of these people on this app, like with anything about information. Not one time, bro. Like
Yeah.
this is no
And
truth
almost
behind this.
anything they be pulling up. That's how I just type the book name in there and it pops right up for me almost every time.
So what you can get like PDFs or how does it work?
So they got different formats. Some of the books won't be in a PDF form, it'll be in like an EPUB form or what's the other one? Like a doc format. So sometimes in a doc format or a PDF format, but a PDF doc or EPUB. But once you type, like I'm gonna give you an example.
It's
Just
a
give me
book
the
I
name of
want,
the
but I don't
book.
want
Right?
to. I don't think they're gonna have it on here.
What's the name of it?
No, I can't. I don't want to say it.
Oh, you don't want to say it?
It's not on here though. I don't think it's on here.
It might not be because there's some books on there that's like hard to find. Like
Like
some
if
books
it's
that's
like
not. I said some
if
books
it's
is
like
hard to find that's not on there.
a collegiate book, it's not gonna be on there.
No, it might be. That's why I'm saying it all depend, and it all depend on the year too. Like I want to say any book after like 2018, you might not find. You'll find a bunch of research papers on here, but any book after like 2018 is gonna be real difficult to find.
All right, baby, we live.
Yeah, WeLive.org. It's another one. I gotta remember the name of it. That's where I be finding some of the other stuff I can't find on here. I gotta find it.
I think it's redirected. I think it redirected me, but I'll get it right. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and close this up. I'm finna go ahead and upload that right now. Then I'll see y'all in these streets, man. Appreciate y'all coming through. Hey, big gratitude on them gifts. I don't know what that was about. That's not supposed. That was never part of nothing I ever agreed to. Or even I really wasn't even gonna do no voting shit because it really just is what it is. My thing is Y'all know I'd be talking about a lot of the scholars before our time. One person I never talk about is John Henry Clark. And just to expand or evolve on what he said, I only debate my equals, everybody else I teach. I found out these people trying to stay in these echo chambers, they're not really trying to learn. But if we get them in a format to have to stick to a criteria and a certain methodology, then it's gonna be just like this. It's gonna be like, oh, bro, you don't know what you're talking about. You're doing the most conflation. Like, and that's why I said at the end of it, summarize to yourself. If anybody was finessed with that, summarize to yourself how he proved that black people are indigenous to America. He don't even know what black people is. He don't even know who indigenous people is. He didn't do what I did. Show you the first time these was referenced. Negro the first time it was documented. So yeah, just deal with that however you feel. But if anybody else has any contention, or you should debate about it. I feel like should nobody be on none of these panels as far as the pretending side go if they not willing to debate about it, because you don't know what you talk about, but you're on here spreading misinformation. But if you have information, I'm telling you, I disagree, and I want to debate. I'm the main one that want to debate. I'm the top op. I'm super villain. DaDonDadda to Pretenians, FBA Hoteps, the Moors. Oh my gosh, if I really want them more, but they don't exist no more. But yeah, come see me about it, debate about it. We gone. Carolina, all right, y'all, I'm in the streets.